A very good evening to all the students in this live virtual class for Paper 3B, Goods and Services Tax. I am CA Shefali Jain and I am a faculty for Indirect Tax Laws at Board of Studies. Today's topic is GST in India and Introduction. And because it is continuing for last two sessions, so some of the topics have still been left to be completed. And after completing GST in India and Introduction, we will be moving to the next chapter, chapter 2, that is supply under GST. So welcome you all to this session and all the students, very good evening to all of you. Let me see. Okay. Kusumanchi, good evening. Harsh, good evening. Himanshi, Abhinav, Deepika, Thamare Selvi, Priyanka. Okay, Priyanka, you watched the recorded session. That's why you have come in live. I always suggest everyone to join the live session because in live session, the kind of inputs you will get, you will not be able to get in the recorded session. You won't be able to ask your query. You won't be able to participate in the session. Manvi, good evening. Gunjan, and okay, somebody saying no audio is there. But please tell me in the chat box if audio is not working so that I can see, I can check. I have given you a link to join after the break. Medha, good evening. Okay, Abhinav is telling it's audible, so good, good. Then Purnima, Pooja, Nandini, Prerna, Nausheen, good evening everyone. Kavyajit, then Satish, Sakti, and lot many others, Niharika, all of you, good evening. So first of all, tell me, as I ask in every session, how many of you have revised? Because few of you promised that you will be revising on Saturday evening. So I want to know that how many of you have revised on Saturday, the topic which we had. Okay, few of you have raised the hands. Krishna, I have received all of it. I have doubts. Okay, those of you who have doubts, we'll clarify those doubts in the session. Don't worry. That is not an issue. Doubts होने में कोई problem नहीं है. Important is that you have actually revised it. So that is what is important and that is what is required. So let me see if any doubt is there from anything which you have raised. Okay, so audio is perfectly fine. Abhinav, you have revised. Okay. And Priyanka, okay, revised and following 5D strategy, Priyanka is saying. That's very good, Priyanka. I will take all your queries. Medha has revised and Medha has some doubts. You can ask your doubts, Medha. Purnima has also revised. Pooja and then Nausheen and Sakti has also revised. So good to know that all of you have revised the previous session. Until now, till date, you all are with me. So Prerna has also revised. All of you, many of you have revised, I would say, or almost all of you have revised. So that is very good to know. Okay, Riddhi is saying not on Sunday, but not on Saturday, but on Sunday I revised. That is good. My purpose is before coming to this session, you all should have revised. Though I generally suggest to revise it as early as possible. Anita has also revised. Vikash has also revised. That is good. Okay. So let us start with the class now. And before we start the class, I will quickly take you through some of the important concepts which we discussed in the last class, because today we'll be having a GST Titan quiz at the end of the class. For this, I have given you a link also, which you have to go join to a separate device before the end of after the break, you have to join through this session through a separate device. Okay, so Charan has also revised. And who else is left? Linga Raju. Okay, now video audio is fine. Okay, that is good. In between, I had switched off the audio for a minute, but now I think it's audible to everyone. Okay, let me show you the few concepts. I will quickly take you through this concept because I would be having GST Titan quiz today. These concepts will be tested, and they are very important from chapter 1. So I'm just giving you an idea. I'm getting a message from Bhargavi that she's not able to join the Zoom class. Bhargavi, you have to go to BOS Knowledge Portal. At BOS Knowledge Portal on right side, you will see the for intermediate student. There is a special portal which you have to log in through your NRO, your SRO number. You have to join it and through your date of birth. So when you join that link, you will be getting the class. You can join the class in Zoom. Please join the class in Zoom. You will be benefited in a better manner because you can ask all your queries in Zoom. Or through ECPL also you can ask your queries. That is not an issue. But I generally suggest these students to join through Zoom so that they can directly ask their query. Okay. So Hina is asking something. Can you summary PDF of first chapter? That was we have summarized PDF. Hina, I had given you the notes for the first chapter for the till the date whatever we have covered. So that itself is a kind of summary only. Okay. So that will help you in summarizing the topic. You can go through them. You'll find it almost like a summary. Alcoholic liquor for human, I will be a bit fast today because I want to cover all my topics today. Whatever I have planned, generally we are lag behind. I don't want to rush through it also, but I want to cover substantial portion. So alcoholic liquor for human consumption, हमने last class में किया था कि ये 4-5 items हैं, उन पे GST लगेगा या नहीं लगेगा. Alcoholic liquor for human consumption is outside the purview of GST by constitution itself. लेकिन इसके ऊपर स्टेट जीएसटी लगता है और सेंट्रल सीएसटी और वैट लगता है. जब हम सीएसटी और वैट की बात करते हैं तो हम उसे वैट और सीएसटी ही बुलाएंगे बिकॉज हम अपने एक्रोनियम में उसको वी रेफर करते हैं. सो वेयर एवर इन एक्रोनियम वी हैव वी, दैट मीन्स वैट और सीएसटी उस पर लग रहा है. वेयर एवर इन एक्रोनियम वी हैव एस, तो स्टेट एक्साइज ड्यूटी, सी है तो वो सेंट्रल एक्साइज ड्यूटी को रेफर करेगा. एक्रोनियम की बात मैं इसलिए कर रही हूँ बिकॉज विदाउट एक्रोनियम यू वोंट बी एबल टू रिमेंबर. आप कॉन्सेप्ट समझोगे तो याद रखोगे, बट एक्रोनियम इज ऑल्सो अ वे टू रिमेंबर इट. सो इसीलिए एल्कोहलिक लिकर फॉर ह्यूमन कंजम्पशन के लिए हमने एवॉक्स बनाया था, एल्कोहलिक लिकर. वैट, वी फॉर वैट एंड सीएसटी, ओ and G is outside GST and S is state excise duty. AWOX you have to remember for alcoholic liquor for human consumption. Constitution ही alcoholic liquor पे GST को बाहर कर देता है. Second point है पेट्रोलियम क्रूड, डीजल, पेट्रोल, एटीएफ एंड नेचुरल गैस. दीज आर पेट्रोलियम प्रोडक्ट्स. ये पांचों, एटीएफ है एविएशन टर्बाइन फ्यूल, जो कि आपके एरोप्लेन्स में जो फ्यूल यूज होता है दैट इज एविएशन टर्बाइन फ्यूल. सो पेट्रोलियम प्रोडक्ट्स पे जीएसटी अभी लेविएबल नहीं है, ये आपको पता होना चाहिए. जीएसटी अभी पेट्रोलियम प्रोडक्ट्स पे नहीं लगता. इट विल बी लेविएट फ्रॉम अ डेट टू बी नोटिफाइड. लेकिन इस पे स्टेट जीएसटी की जगह सेंट्रल जीएसटी लग रहा है अभी, और वैट और सीएसटी तो इसमें लगाया ही जा रहा है. क्योंकि जहां जीएसटी नहीं है वहां वैट और सीएसटी तो लगाना पड़ेगा उसकी सेल के ऊपर, और मैन्युफैक्चर के ऊपर एक्साइज ड्यूटी लगेगी. पेट्रोलियम प्रोडक्ट्स पे सेंट्रल एक्साइज ड्यूटी है. So this is PGNLCV. Now, how do we have made the acronym? Practice gives new learning and creates values. So petroleum products, sorry, GST not leviable. Central excise duty, VAT and CST would be leviable. Petroleum products पे VAT और CST लगेगा और आपका central excise duty लगती है. Okay. So I got your point, Satish. नाउ अब पेट्रोलियम प्रोडक्ट्स कौन से हैं ये याद रखना भी कभी कभी मुश्किल पड़ सकता है. तो उसके लिए हमने क्या किया, पेट्रोलियम प्रोडक्ट्स पे भी जीएसटी लगने नहीं दिया है पब्लिक ने. तो उसके लिए हमने एक्रोनियम भी वैसे ही बनाया. पब्लिक डजंट परमिट एनी न्यू जीएसटी ऑन पेट्रोलियम प्रोडक्ट्स. So P stands for petroleum crude, D stands for diesel, P again stands for petrol. So petroleum crude and petrol are petroleum products. ATF and natural gas. Urmila is also asking how to join Zoom lectures. Can you repeat it again? Urmila, you have to go to BOS Knowledge Portal. आप ICAI की वेबसाइट पे लॉग इन कीजिए, BOS Knowledge Portal पे जाइए. On right side you will find a students login. वहां पे आप अपना WRO नंबर डालोगे, आप अपना रजिस्ट्रेशन नंबर बेसिकली वहां डालोगे. इंटरमीडिएट सेलेक्ट करो, रजिस्ट्रेशन नंबर सेलेक्ट डालिए अपना उसमें, एंड देन यू हैव टू गिव योर डेट ऑफ बर्थ. यू विल स्ट्रेट अवे कम टू द लाइव वर्चुअल क्लासेस पोर्टल, और उस पोर्टल में आप लाइव वर्चुअल क्लास फॉर 2 days इंटरमीडिएट की जो आज की लाइव वर्चुअल क्लास है आप उससे ज्वाइन कर सकते हैं. इनफैक्ट फॉर ऑल दी students information, now that feedback portal which was earlier not working, there was some issue in that feedback portal, now it is working. तो आज की क्लास के बाद मुझे सब बच्चों से फीडबैक चाहिए हाउ यू आर फाइंडिंग दिस क्लास. इनफैक्ट इफ टाइम परमिट्स आई विल गिव यू 2 minutes विद इन द क्लास itself because now that portal is working. Some problem, some technical issue was there. Tobacco का oh I'm tobacco. Okay, oh my screen is not visible to you. Okay, sorry. Thanks for telling me this, students, that screen is not visible. Yes, Abhinav, you had submitted your feedback. Thanks for telling me, everyone, that screen is not visible. So let me come to the screen. Is it now visible? Can anybody tell me? Is it visible now? I didn't realize that I have not shared my screen. LTC tobacco. Very good, Priyanka. Okay, now is it's visible. Okay, fine, fine. Thank you for telling me, students, because I would have proceeded quite a lot. So, okay, screen is visible. Okay, fine, fine. Then it's fine. Okay, okay, now I got it. That screen is visible. So tobacco में क्या था? LTC. Very good. किसी ने मुझे अभी अभी tobacco की वो acronym बताया and that's good कि आपको acronym भी याद है क्योंकि अभी acronym की screen पे अभी हम नहीं आए हैं. तो that means one who is telling the acronym he remembers it. Okay, fine. That's good that it's visible to you all. ठीक है. तो LTC मतलब आपका GST लेविएबल है. जहां GST आया वैट और CST आप देखोगे यहां से गायब हो गया. ठीक है. तो GST लेविएबल है और एक्साइज ड्यूटी में सेंट्रल एक्साइज ड्यूटी है LTC. T stands for tobacco, L stands for leviable to GST, and C stands for central excise duty. So this is the acronym. Leviable to GST, tobacco, central excise duty. Next comes the opium, Indian hemp, and other narcotics, drugs, and नारकोटिक्स पर से. यहाँ पे भी जीएसटी लगेगा इसीलिए आपका सीएसटी वैट नहीं है यहाँ पे. ठीक है. प्लस इसके मैन्युफैक्चर के ऊपर स्टेट एक्साइज ड्यूटी भी लगती है. पहले भी प्री जीएसटी में भी यही लगता था. यहाँ पे स्टेट एक्साइज ड्यूटी ही लगती थी. सेंट्रल एक्साइज ड्यूटी से ओपियम हेम्प नारकोटिक्स ड्रग्स बाहर थे. तो यहाँ पर हमने जो बनाया था उसका एक्रोनियम वो था LOS. That is leviable to GST, OPM, and state excise duty. This will help you to remember the. Okay. Deepika is saying revise in English. Deepika, I'm not saying anything which I'm not telling in English. Don't worry, you will not miss out anything. But had I been more on Hindi, I will try to switch to English now. So leviable to GST, OPM, and state excise duty is the acronym for OPM. So I hope these four major sectors or four major products GST leviability has been clear to you and now you will remember that. Okay. Today we'll come to constitutional provisions. Constitutional provisions, you all have to be very attentive. Very good, Priyanka. You all have to be very attentive in constitutional provisions. Some of you might find कि उतना interesting नहीं है. It's not that interesting, but I will try to make it as interesting as possible for you. Moreover, they are very, very important. You all are going to become now you all are my future chartered accountants. और एक chartered accountant को constitutional provisions ना पता हो ऐसा नहीं हो सकता. Because ये क्योंकि lawyers जो है they generally boast कि हाँ हमें constitution पता है, हमें सारे legal provisions we are better than CAs. तो हम legal provisions में we are nowhere less. और हम कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल प्रोविजंस को उतनी ही अटेंटिवली पढ़ेंगे उतनी ही केयरफुली पढ़ेंगे so that we are thorough with the constitutional provisions. Okay, so before starting that let me see if anybody has any doubt. Let me quickly go through. Screen is now Priyanka, screen is Divya, screen is presented. So still if anybody has any non visibility of screen you can let me know. Chaitra is saying when the edition textbooks introduced to May 26 exams, Chaitra, I told you that July 25 edition will be applicable. So that is one module has already been web hosted. Second module will also get web hosted very soon. And it will be available on CDS knowledge portal also. Medha, you can ask your doubt, whatever doubt you have. Otherwise, I will start with the constitutional provisions. Mohan Raj, I will try to stick to English. Don't worry. Okay, Mohan Raj has also. So now I have shared the screen, so it's visible to you all. Okay, so these are previous messages where screen was not visible. Thank you, Anubhav, for your feedback. And today I will be, this portal is also, feedback portal is also active. So there we have given certain parameters for your feedback so that you can also fill. So let me see if any doubt is there. Let me check. Ishwarya is there, Julie, LOS, Julie, so good you remember that LOS. Which chapter, Rosie? You're asking about the constitutional provisions. It's there in chapter 1 only. So it's a part of chapter 1. In chapter 1, we have just left the constitutional provisions and two illustrations, two big illustrations that will make the concept of seamless flow of credit clear to you all. So we'll be discussing them. Krishna, you are asking this question which somebody asked in the previous session, ki whether the narcotic drugs are legal in India. So legal and illegal is a separate thing. In certain states, it is legal also, but GST leviability is beyond that. Same is for income tax also. I gave the example of smuggling activity last class that even if smuggling is not a permitted activity, if anybody is caught smuggling, then he cannot say that it's not a legal activity. A tax cannot be levied. So tax is above all. Tax तो आपको देना ही पड़ेगा आप legal activity कर रहे हो या illegal. So that is not an issue. Okay, tax is subsumed in GST and not subsumed in GST. You have a doubt in me that in Medha. Okay, I will try to cover it after break because I have to get the slide for that tax is subsumed. Priyanka, GST studying is now more interesting. You taught in an incredible way, images, videos, quiz, and much more. Yes, thank you, Priyanka. And I want that feedback because I just want to know whether this way of teaching is working for you all or it is not, or is it not working? That is what I want. Yes, Priyanka, I will clear your doubt. This doubt, just wait for me to start constitutional provisions. Your doubt I am definitely going to clear in just few minutes. Okay, Medha, you have dropped your feedback. Thank you so much. Thank you, Medha. Thank you so much. Priyanka has filled the feedback form yesterday. Thank you. Is old module also applicable? Satish is asking. Satish, in old module, then you have to take care that you refer all the amendments which have been incorporated in the latest module that you can see from the portion bold and italicized in the current study. So आप current study material खोलो और उसमें जो भी portion bold italicized है वो अपने study material में आपको बहुत carefully incorporate करना पड़ेगा. थोड़ा सा time उसमें लगेगा, but choice is yours. Students who have January 26, they can refer this class, I can say Priyanshi, because though we generally suggest them to view the recorded lectures, but यहाँ पे जब तक मैं FA25 के amendments discuss नहीं करती, I will try to make it a point कि FA25 के amendments, I will separately tell you कि ये FA25 की amendment है, because that is not applicable for you. वैसे अभी FA25 की कोई भी amendment अभी effective नहीं हुई है. So since FA25 amendments are not effective, so whatever currently is being taught, that January 26 students can also see, but you have to be very careful while attending these classes that you don't go through any provision which is not applicable for you. Okay, Satish. So let us start with the constitutional provision. Now, constitutional provision, first of all, let us see the constitutional structure. Constitution has a preamble. Preamble is the basic starting जो आपको जो constitution के बारे में बताता है आपको कि constitution का basic structure क्या है, why we have introduced constitution. It is divided into 25 parts, and in these 25 parts there are 448 articles. Articles क्या हैं? Which define the provision. I would say I am using the word provision because जैसे एक act के अंदर different sections होते हैं which define the provisions of that particular law. वैसे ही constitution में articles होते हैं. Same way constitution has articles which define the principles which the constitution wants to set for its country. And it has 12 schedules. Now schedules, the word schedule itself tells you that it is a list of certain activities, certain goods. Schedule में कुछ list दी हुई है which has a relation with the article. So articles will refer to certain schedules because there are certain things you want to list down, that these are the activities you are allowed, this is the activities which is not allowed. Maybe that is an example. So that will be provided in a schedule. वो एक अलग से schedule में वो provide किया जाएगा. They are the schedules. This is the basic structure of the constitution. Now we move up. Today, whatever constitutional provisions we will be discussing, they will be focused only on the GST law, or they will be related only to GST law. क्योंकि सारे constitutional provisions तो हम नहीं कर सकते, and we are not required to do that also. Related constitutional provisions हम study करेंगे, and only which have been because of the introduction of the GST law, there are certain articles of the constitution which required amendment. तो वो amendments हम quickly go through करेंगे. Constitutional provisions करते वक्त please be aware that Initially, I will discuss 4 articles which are very important. After that, ऐसा नहीं है बाकी important नहीं. It's not that the others are not important. It is that those 4 articles, first of all, they are the base of your studies. Afterwards, you have to, the remaining articles, they are just the, you can say, consequential amendments बिकॉज ऑफ द इंट्रोडक्शन ऑफ जीएसटी. वो जीएसटी इंट्रोड्यूस करने की वजह से जो आप कहते हो ना कि यू हैड टू कैरी आउट दोज अमेंडमेंट्स, वो वैसे वाले अमेंडमेंट्स है. बट जो बेस ऑफ जीएसटी है वो पहले जो उसके आर्टिकल्स है वील डिस्कस दैट, ताकि आपका इंटरेस्ट भी लूज ना और आप उसको बहुत कॉन्सेंट्रेशन से पढ़ो. सो आई विल स्टार्ट विद दोज आर्टिकल्स फर्स्ट. ओके, लेट अस सी दी फर्स्ट आर्टिकल, आर्टिकल 265. This is not particularly related to GST. This is related to taxation system per se. कि if you have to levy any tax, that tax can be direct tax, income tax, that can be indirect tax, custom duty, GST, then central excise duty, state excise duty, VAT, CST, all these taxes have to be emerge. The power to levy these taxes, power to collect these taxes should emerge from the constitution. That means if constitution provides that these taxes should be levied, then only the government, central or state government, can impose those taxes. Otherwise, taxes cannot be imposed. You can compare it with an example. Suppose in your school, your principal has levied some fine on you. So she can do that only if your school rule book has any provision to levy fine for a particular offense from the students. ऐसा नहीं है कि स्कूल के प्रिंसिपल ने खुद से अपने आप कुछ ऐसा डिवाइस कर दिया कि आई विल लेवी फाइन ऑन दिस पर्टिकुलर ऑफेंस. नो, rule book or the basic guidelines of the schools have to provide that. Same is the concept for the डायरेक्ट एंड इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स लॉज अंडर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. जो टैक्स लगाने की पावर है वो कहाँ से आती है, ये सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है, क्योंकि टैक्स लगेगा ही तब जब कोई पावर होगी. Constitution provides you power for everything which government is doing. It provides the basic framework within which the government has to operate. आर्टिकल 265 है जो हमें ये बताता है कि अगर हमें टैक्स लगाना है तो उसके लिए उसकी पावर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन से आनी चाहिए. अब वो पावर कहाँ लिखी हुई है, वेयर इज दैट पावर लिस्टेड, दैट वी हैव टू सी. So this is Article 265, pictorial representation, that power to levy and collect taxes, whether direct or indirect, emerges from Constitution of India. Now, where is that power listed? जहां से अब central government है, state government है. Last time we discussed that India is a federal structure. यानी यहाँ पे state भी है, यहाँ पे center भी है, दोनों की अपनी अपनी powers हैं. Though we have seen that center has more powers, center is more powerful. That we will see in today also in constitutional provisions. वहां पे भी आपको यही समझ आएगा कि हाँ सेंटर ज्यादा पावरफुल है, लेकिन पावर्स डिवाइडेड तो हैं सेंटर और स्टेट के बीच में. ऐसा नहीं है कि सेंटर कुछ भी कर रहा है, स्टेट कुछ भी कर रहा है, या स्टेट के पास बिल्कुल भी पावर्स नहीं है, सब कुछ सेंटर को करना है, ऐसा भी नहीं है. इंडिया इज अ फेडरल स्ट्रक्चर, फेडरल गवर्नमेंट. तो उसके हिसाब से वो पावर्स कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में कहाँ लिखी हुई हैं, कैसे पता चलता है कि किस सब्जेक्ट पे स्टेट कैन मेक द लॉज, ऑन विच सब्जेक्ट्स center can make the laws, and on which subjects both of them can make the laws. For this we have, now this is Article 265, again a pictorial representation. You will get all these notes for retention purpose. These pictures have been incorporated. No tax without law. Law नहीं है तो tax नहीं लगेगा. Let us see. वो the power to levy taxes, for that the segregation of the powers is in the 7th schedule. 7th schedule provides you to Article 246. Article 246 का जो 7th schedule है, Article 246 provides that what the governments can make, state and central government can make the laws on the subjects which are listed in list 1, 2 and 3, union list, state list and concurrent list. Now what these 3 lists encompass in them? जो आपकी यूनियन लिस्ट है, अब यूनियन या सेंट्रल लिस्ट है ना, यूनियन से एक वर्ड हमें समझ में आता है कि हाँ इट इज रिलेटेड टू सेंटर. सेकंड इज स्टेट लिस्ट. दिस नेम इटसेल्फ सजेस्ट कि ये स्टेट के से रिलेटेड लिस्ट है. थर्ड वन इज द कॉन्क्रुएंट. कॉन्क्रुएंट लास्ट टाइम वी डिड, द लिटरल मीनिंग इज साइमल्टेनियस. सो इन द लिस्ट 1, फॉर द सब्जेक्ट मैटर्स विच आर मेंशन्ड इन लिस्ट 1, लिस्ट 1 में बहुत सारे सब्जेक्ट मैटर्स लिखे हुए हैं, उन सब पे लॉज कौन बना सकता है? Laws have to be made by the parliament, or the center has to make. Union government has to make laws, is empowered to make laws on the लिस्ट वन दैट इज यूनियन लिस्ट. यूनियन लिस्ट पे अगर लॉज बनाने हैं तो उस पे सेंटर बना सकता है. सेंट्रल एक्साइज ड्यूटी, इनकम टैक्स लॉ, उसके बाद जो आपके और डिफेंस के से रिलेटेड जो लॉज हैं आपके, दे आर empowered for that. Central government has been empowered to make the laws. They are very very crucial subjects जो हम states को power नहीं दी जाती. बहुत जो national interest के subjects होते हैं, for that the state does not get the power, और उनमें वहां पे center को power दी जाती है. But there are certain subjects on which state has to, because locally वो बहुत ज्यादा impact होते हैं. Certain matters are there which are impacted locally. So in that case, the state has to make the laws. Yes, Lalit, you are right. So on those matters, state has to make the laws. अब वो किस टाइप के मैटर्स होते हैं जो आपके लोकल उससे रिलेटेड, जैसे पुलिस हो गया आपका, या आपकी स्टेट एक्साइज ड्यूटी है. पहले आपका अर्लियर इट यूज्ड टू बी एंट्री टैक्स, ऑक्ट्रॉय. So on these matters, state can make the laws. So separate list हो गई, अलग अलग लिस्ट है. एक सेंटर की है, एक स्टेट की लिस्ट है, जहां पर सेंटर knows that these are the matters on which I have to make the laws. State knows these are the matters that on which states have to make the laws. Third comes the congruent list, which is a mix of state and center, which is a simultaneous list for state and center, on which both center and state governments have lawmaking power. So, on the matters which are listed in congruent list, both state and center can make the laws. Okay, I hope till this point, all of you are clear. Now, again, our curious Kabir is back in this session. In last session, I think he was not there, but curious Kabir को अब ये तीनों list देखने के बाद एक doubt आ गया. So curious Kabir got a doubt after seeing these three lists. ये तीन list सबको clear है? अच्छा, I will give you that. Just give me a minute. Okay. So Urmila, you have joined now? Okay. Just a minute. Let me show you something. So Curious Kabir got a doubt that जब तीनों की अलग अलग powers हैं, when separate powers are there, why do we have to make the constitutional amendment for GST law? Constitution is very clear that you have to make the laws. This is the central list, this is the state list, and this is the concurrent list. So why there was a confusion, or why there was a need for constitutional amendment? In fact, after seeing the answer of GST Ginny, still one doubt will be left in everybody's mind that I will myself clear. Okay, so see. So Curious Kabir has asked, why was there a need for constitutional amendment for introducing GST? I think I have started getting the answers. Residuary subject is also a constitutional list. Yes, Mohan Raj, that is also a constitutional. Residuary subject is, you are talking about the constitutional, you are talking about the concurrent list. Is it so? Yes, Nausheen. So, okay, it's clear to Purnima also. And anybody has any doubt before that? Okay. So Curious Kabir asked why there was a constitutional amendment required, because there are powers have been very clearly segregated. So quickly in the chat box, can all of you tell me that why this constitutional amendment was required for introduction of GST? GST's basic characteristics we had done in last two classes. After getting to know all the basic characteristics of GST, can you think of the reasons why it is there? Okay, so I've got lot many answers. Before that, Lalit, let me tell you some examples of the concurrent list. So one of the example is marriage, succession, adulteration. Then we have the trade unions, forest. These are the areas on which both state as well as center can make the laws. Let me see answers. And in fact, before the start of the at the start of the class, before seeing your answers, I just want to tell juristic person. Somebody has asked me, juridical person, I think. So that is a legal entity. So that is not a real person. If I say that is not a real person, but it is an entity. It is a legal entity which is established by law. So, for example, body corporates are there. Then we have the body corporates or government bodies are there, trade unions are there, non-profit organizations are there. They are the juristic persons. Let us come to the answer for this particular question. Before seeing the GST Ginny's answer, I will see my curious Kabir's answer. So I will see first of all what all of you have written. So Lalit is saying Constitution 1914 GST came in 2017. Yes, Constitution. Now you have written it correctly. And company, your answer which you have given for company is maybe for the juristic person, Lalit. For Rosie saying for central sales tax purpose for excise duty and import constitutional amendments. Okay, quite on close to the correct reason. Mohan Raj to provide center and state to levy GST, correct. To alter the and accommodate a dual GST, Deepika, correct. Then Priyanka, GST is not which comes in state or central list. Maybe that's why constitutional amendment is required. But ma'am, how many entries in state list, union list, and concrete list? That I have to see, Priyanka. But I will tell you that. Don't worry. To get control over state and state taxes and their vote. To get control over state taxes and vote. So for that, the negotiation was required, Abhinav, with all the states, but constitutional amendment was required for giving the power to center and states to levy GST. Basic reason is that for understanding genesis of various taxes being imposed in India, Meda has given the reason, Hina, to get power in both hands, state as well as center. That is right, Hina. And then we have Anita. Yeah, it's a new tax. Okay, it's a new tax, but they could have what they could have done. They could have put it in any of the list, but they have not done so. They have made a separate article. They have introduced a separate new article. In fact, two articles separately have been introduced for the introduction of GST, and third one for the formation of the GST Council. And lot many amendments have taken place in the existing article. So why such a large scale amendment was required in the constitution? Because in concurrent list, Gunjan is saying in concurrent list, both center and state have power to levy taxes in which either tax goes central or to state, but GST goes to both center and okay. So there was a need. That is why, because many students will feel that this could have gone to the concurrent list, but no, this is actually entirely separate. There a separate mechanism was required for this. So let me see other answers quickly and then I will tell you the reason. For passing bill to make parliament GST law, Mustafa is telling. Then Sakti to go and proceed GST. So basic purpose is to levy the GST. That is obviously that why we have done the amendment in the constitution to levy GST. But why for levying GST that amendment was required? That is the basic question. So for easy in intra and interstate business, that Riddhi is saying. Then Himanshi, okay. Examples of concurrent list, Himanshi, now you also have got for decreasing burden of taxes. That is the purpose of GST, Himanshi. So both central and states have power when it comes to taxes on supply. Tax on tax solving for. Muzaid is saying for solving the problem of tax on tax. So that is why for that purpose GST is being levied. Okay. Extraterritorial operations, you must have seen somewhere in the chapter, Praveen. I think you have read in the study material. Extraterritorial operations means beyond your territory, beyond your area of operation. If you are trying something, you are doing any operations. Madiha to give power to government to levy GST. Vedant is saying constitution has to amend GST to yes, for bringing GST into the into force, we had to take the amendments. We had to do the amendments. Prajapati, separate powers given to center and state to import. Import, yes, separate powers were given, and we had to integrate. Now, Nehal, for integration of yes, this is one of the reasons, Nehal. For integration of different taxes levied at state level as well as central level, amendment was required. States were not willing to agree with union. For that, Abhinav, they had to bring them at one platform, but for that negotiation was required. Constitutional amendment could also take place only after there was a consensus among states, all the states. ये जो आपने बताया अभिनव, ये प्री कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट एक्सरसाइज थी. that the government had to bring everybody at one platform and convince them that you will not lose any revenue, we'll give you the revenue compensation also. So you have to agree for GST. But जब ताकि जब constitutional amendment bill आए place हो, that should be passed by all the members in the parliament. Without amendment, we cannot levy GST. Yes, you are right. So now I will straight away come to GST Ginny, that why GST amendment has taken place. Most of you were very close, somewhere close to the correct answer. So let GST Ginny give the correct answer, क्योंकि अब क्यूरियस कबीर ने अपना क्वेश्चन पोज कर दिया है. आप लोगों ने क्यूरियस कबीर होते हुए भी बहुत सारे करेक्ट आंसर्स दिए हैं. लेट अस सी व्हाट इज द एक्चुअल आंसर. So, in fact, all of you are very, very close to the correct answer. Separate powers were given under the Constitution to center and states to impose various taxes. For example, central excise duty. Center has the power to levy. Service tax. Center has the power to levy. ये सारे taxes center के पास थे. Central Sales Tax, CST. Center can levy the tax on the interstate sale of goods. Center could levy tax on supply of services. Center could levy tax on manufacture of almost all the articles except those which were outside the purview of central excise duty, which were alcoholic liquor for human consumption, narcotic drugs. Otherwise, ये सारी power central के पास थी. States के case में states के पास states had the subjects like luxury tax, then VAT was there. Then we had the octroi and so many other taxes which were there in the purview of the state, purchase tax. So all these taxes were within the purview of state. And most important of them was VAT. Intrastate sale of goods was outside the purview of center. Center could not levy tax on this, only state could have levied. So because of this, an amendment was required so that a combined powers, simultaneous powers could be given to both center as well as to state to levy taxes on both supply of goods as well as supply of services, manufacture, all those events. So one event, taxable event now is supply. तो चाहे वो manufacture हो, supply हो, goods का हो, services का हो, everything had to be given simultaneously. Everything has to be simultaneously taxed by center and state, and that is why these separate powers were earlier there. And what we required an integration of all the taxes. I had got one answer regarding the integration of all taxes subsumed in a comprehensive GST and to empower both center and state to levy and collect it. पहले तो सारे taxes को integrate करके एक tax बनाना था GST. We had to first of all integrate all the taxes and we have to make one single tax GST. उस integration में central taxes will also be there, state taxes would have also been there. So after integrating all the central and state taxes, one tax had to be made. Second, simultaneous power had to be given to states as well as center to levy tax on supply of goods as well as supply of services and to collect that tax. Now for this, just putting it in the concurrent list would not have done the purpose or would not have served the purpose, because we require a full-fledged separate mechanism. उसके लिए पूरा एक mechanism चाहिए था जिससे ये possible हो पाता. सिर्फ concurrent list में डालने से इतना बड़ा legal change, इतना बड़ा I would say indirect tax transformation, इतना बड़ा paradigm shift would not have been brought. इतना ट्रांसफॉर्मेशनल रिवोल्यूशन था ये एक तरीके का indirect taxation में. It could not have been brought by just putting that item in the concurrent list that both center and state can levy tax. No, we have to devise the whole mechanism to levy the tax, that is GST, on goods and services both. तो सेंटर को पावर देनी थी कि वो इंट्रास्टेट सेल पे भी गुड्स इंट्रास्टेट ऑफ कैन लेवी टैक्स ऑन इंट्रास्टेट सेल ऑफ गुड्स. State has to be given power to levy tax on manufacture, to levy tax on in goods and to levy tax on services also. So goods पे center tax लगा सके, collect भी कर पाए. States जो हैं वो services पे भी tax लगा पाए और collect भी कर पाए. और ये manufacture, sale, all have been subsumed into one taxable event, that is the supply of goods, supply of services. Supply is the common taxable event. So ये इतना बड़ा revolution के लिए भी required constitutional amendment, separate articles have been introduced. Okay, Abhinav, you got this point now? Integration of central excise duty. That is right, Sharmila. Integration of central excise duty, octroi, entry tax, purchase tax, VAT, service tax, integration of all the taxes which we had done in the last class. Okay, okay. So now I hope this is clear to everyone. We'll do it in great detail now. कि अब वो amendments क्या क्या आई थी? GST is a new regime. Yes, Lingaraju. That is a point. GST is a new regime. तो कोई नई चीज करनी है तो अमेंडमेंट तो करनी है, लेकिन जो अमेंडमेंट हमने जीएसटी के आने के बाद, सॉरी लिंगराज, GST is a new tax, so we had to undertake the amendments, we had to do the amendments, but the kind of amendments which we have and after introducing, for introducing GST were massive. Now why these massive amendments were required? Because of these reasons, that we required an integration of all the taxes into one, and both center and state had to be given power to levy tax on goods as well as on services. These are the two basic reasons for a constitutional amendment. Now, when you will understand what type of constitutional amendments have taken place, you will get to know why this separate mechanism was required. Now, let me see the queries if anybody has in this point. Banti Kumar, because GST is leviable both by center and state government as well as center. Yes, Banti, you were right. Vijay, maybe to bring uniformity. Uniformity, GST will itself bring, Vijay. So why to introduce GST constitutional amendment was required? For this, these two reasons were required. So one is integration, and second one is to empower both center and state simultaneously. Amit Ranjan is saying required amendment in condition to enable integration. Yes, Amit. This integration point is absolutely correct. So I hope this point you must have. So a separate new mechanism is required for levying GST. Now this was Constitutional Amendment Act. And these are the major significant amendments. Now this is just a glance of it, but we will not go through it. We'll quickly go through the detailed provisions. Straight away we'll go to the detailed provisions. If any doubt to anyone is there. Point two, okay. Himanshi says point two, if I explain it again. Himanshi, empower both center and state. You want to know this point or you want to know both the points? Let me, please tell me. With the introduction of GST, center had to levy tax on goods. Center should also be given power to levy tax on intrastate supply of goods and to collect it also. When I say levy plus collection, under CST, center had the power to levy central sales tax, but collection was on the power to collect was on states. Under GST, center had to be given entire power for goods on the levy of intrastate tax also, as well as interstate tax also, and collection also. Similarly, state had to be given power to levy tax on the services, on supply of services. That is why we had to amend the constitution so that both these center and state get the power to levy tax on supply of goods as well as supply of services. Second point was you want to know both. Okay. Second is integration. Now, you know, we had seen in the last class in detail, all the taxes had been subsumed into one tax, that is GST. बहुत सारे स्टेट के टैक्स, बहुत सारे सेंटर के टैक्स सबस्यूम करके एक टैक्स बना था जीएसटी. अब उनको सबस्यूम करने के लिए जो पावर थी, उसके लिए एक सेपरेट मैकेनिज्म की जरूरत थी. बिकॉज अगर सिर्फ कॉन्करेंट लिस्ट में आप उसको डाल के छोड़ देते, इफ यू हैड इनकॉर्पोरेटेड अ न्यू एंट्री इन द कॉन्करेंट लिस्ट, how would you have integrated so many taxes? How would you have known, how would it have been made known that all these existing taxes have been subsumed, they have been removed, and this new tax will be including all of them? So for that, this new amendment, this mechanism was required. A separate mechanism has been devised. So I hope this clears your doubt. Let me see. वेदांत जल्दी से हिंदी में समझाती हूँ. कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट का मतलब यही था कि कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में आपने चेंज कर दिया, आप नए आर्टिकल्स लेके आए, आप कॉन्करेंट लिस्ट में हमने नहीं डाला जीएसटी को एज एन एंट्री. वो क्यों नहीं किया? क्योंकि जीएसटी के अंदर हमें सिर्फ कॉन्करेंट, सिर्फ स्टेट और सेंटर को एक पावर नहीं देनी थी कि जीएसटी लगाओ. हमें सारे टैक्सेस को इंटीग्रेट भी करना था और एक मैकेनिज्म डिवाइस करना था जिसमें आप जीएसटी को लेवी करोगे. क्योंकि सेंटर के पास गुड्स को लेवी करने का, गुड्स पे इंट्रा स्टेट पे टैक्स करने की पावर चाहिए थी, स्टेट्स को सर्विसेज पे टैक्स लगाने की पावर चाहिए थी. उसके लिए हमने जीएसटी का एक सेपरेट मैकेनिज्म बनाया, नए आर्टिकल्स इंट्रोड्यूस किए कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में. उसके दो ही रीजन है, इंटीग्रेशन ऑफ ऑल द टैक्सेस इनटू वन टैक्स, एंड सेकंड इज comprehensive or simultaneous levy of GST on both goods and services. So I hope that is clear. So frowned upon by them. Krishna, actually there are certain lacunas also. So I am telling you only the positive points, but as we progress into the law, or as we dive into the law, you will know the negatives also. Okay, thank you, Manshi. Let me see if any doubt is there. Otherwise, we'll quickly move to the articles. So can state government change tax rates? Muzahid and Mohammed, any change in the GST has to be approved by the GST Council. वो भी हम GST Council वाले article में देखेंगे. इस state cannot change anything on their own. Don't worry. Instead of amendment, can new article be added? For that, amendment is required. Constitution में तो आपको जो भी करना है उसके लिए amendment चाहिए. You cannot add it without amendment. Okay. Distributed. हाँ, it is that distribution also. One article is there, Priyanka. You will get to know that. Okay, Hindi explanation all of you got. Now we'll start with the first article. That is Article 246A. Okay, this is only a summary which I have given. Those notes will be given to you, but हम एक article को separately discuss करेंगे. Article 246A. It has three major points. They are listed on your screen, but I will start with explanation of each of the points one by one. So first point is that, or let's read it once. Power is granted to center and state governments to make laws with respect to GST imposed by center or such state. So power has been granted to both center and state governments to levy taxes which they are imposing, levy GST which they are imposing. So concurrent powers have been given by virtue of Article 246A. That center as well as state government can impose taxes on goods and services supply. Congruent powers have been given. Okay, this is the very simple point. बार बार हम शुरू से यही बात कर रहे हैं कि दोनों सेंटर और स्टेट को ये पावर मिल गई कि वो अपने अपने टैक्सेस को के लिए लॉज बना सकते हैं, क्योंकि बिकॉज वी हैव टू लेवी द टैक्स, यू हैव टू मेक द लॉज also. So this power to make the laws, law making power basically is given to central government as well as state government with respect to GST imposed by them. अब ये जो GST यहाँ पे जिसकी बात हो रही है वो GST कौन से हैं? CGST and SGST. यानी center can make the laws with respect to CGST, central tax, and state can make laws with respect to SGST being levied by them. प्लस सेंटर जो है CGST के साथ साथ UTGST भी का लॉ भी बनाएगा. क्यों? क्योंकि UTGST इज ऑल्सो अ सेंट्रल लेजिस्लेशन, SGST इज अ स्टेट लेजिस्लेशन. Then next point says center has the exclusive power. अब यहाँ पर देखो फिर से जो हमने अभी लास्ट क्लास में किया था, and today also I repeated, India is a federal structure but center has more powers. So center has the exclusive power to make laws with respect to GST in case of the intrastate supply. Two keywords are there. Center has exclusive power, one, and second on interstate supply. Interstate supply अगर होती है तो उस पे सिर्फ center laws बनाएगा. So who has the authority to levy GST on interstate supply? States do not have any authority to levy tax or to make laws on the GST which is imposed on interstate supply. That is IGST. On interstate supply, IGST is levied. वो भी एक article अभी बाद में हम discuss करेंगे which provides that. But the IGST which is being levied on interstate supply, tax would be levied not by states. Tax would be levied only by center, and laws will also be made by the center. तो अभी हम ये देख रहे हैं कि we said the law cannot be made without the power of the constitution. That is in Article 265. Now separate article has been introduced for making GST law. For CGST and UTGST, center has been empowered. Okay. And for SGST, states have been empowered. अब एक और लॉ बचता है हमारा compensation cess is also a state center subject. IGST law. IGST law only center has the power to make the laws. Interstate supplies के ऊपर IGST is being levied. On interstate supply, IGST is being levied, and on that only center can make the laws. IGST में क्योंकि अब ऐसा क्यों है? क्योंकि उसमें दो states involved है, दोनों का झगड़ा होगा. Both of them will fight who will levy the tax. Center ने बोला don't fight, I will levy the tax. So that is why interstate transaction के ऊपर tax has to be levied, that is IGST. Laws relating to that will be made by the center only. Okay. Now let us move to the third point. This third point time and again we had done. अभी ये articles देखो कुछ कुछ आपने कर लिए हैं. ये articles आपको एकदम new नहीं लग रहे हैं. You are not finding them something surprise. कह रहे ये क्या लिख दिया, ये तो कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा. You all have done this concept. जो हमने conceptually पढ़ा था वही articles में आया है। तो आर्टिकल्स ने ही ये कॉन्सेप्ट्स इंट्रोड्यूस किए विच वी हैव ऑलरेडी डन इन द प्रीवियस क्लासेस. पेट्रोलियम प्रोडक्ट्स GST will be applicable from a date to be notified. This is a very simple point. This is mentioned in the article 246A itself, that on petroleum products GST will be introduced from a GST will be introduced from a date to be notified. So I hope that clears your point, that 3 points are there. CGST, UTGST जितने सेंट्रल टैक्सेस हैं उसके लेजिस्लेशन सेंटर बनाएगा. स्टेट लेजिस्लेशन जो SGST उस पे स्टेट लॉ बनाएगा. IGST जो इंटरस्टेट ट्रांजेक्शन के ऊपर लगेगा उस पे सेंटर ही लॉज बनाएगा, एक्सक्लूसिव पावर है सेंटर के पास. और पेट्रोलियम प्रोडक्ट्स के ऊपर GST अभी नहीं लगेगा. फ्रॉम अ डेट टू बी नोटिफाइड इट विल बी लेवीड, जो कि अभी तक नहीं हुआ है. नाउ आई विल सी योर क्वेरीज. ये आर्टिकल कंप्लीट हो गया हमारा. पार्लियामेंट एंड सेंटर इज सेम. सेंटर का मतलब पार्लियामेंट ही है मोहनराज. पार्लियामेंट एंड सेंटर आर सेम. सेंटर मीन्स पार्लियामेंट मोहनराज. ओके. अमेंडमेंट का मतलब है जया, अमेंडमेंट मीन्स चेंजेस. when we make changes in law we call it as amendment. Okay. आप law के सब you will see in the subject of law that amendments have taken place. किसी provision में, किसी existing concept में when any changes are made they are known as legal framework के अंदर. जैसे आपके कोई भी law, any laws in your business law, corporate and other laws subject, or in taxation, income tax, GST, any changes are made, they are known as amendment. If you're changing the existing structure. So when I say constitution is being amended, constitution's existing structure has been amended. Constitution का existing structure को change किया जा रहा है, उसको हम amendment बोलते हैं. Surekha, okay, Surekha, you're not able to. Am I not audible to you? Is there any problem at your end? Because I think others have not pointed this out. It has a negative, that is to levy tax on popcorn also. So that was very, very viral, or you can say that was very controversial step by the government. Yes, Aishwarya, right. So इतनी सारी और चीजों पे टैक्स लगा, लेकिन पॉपकॉर्न का टैक्स जो है वो ज्यादा क्रिटिसाइज हो गया. 246A is intrastate. Archana is asking. No, Archana. 246A provides us that how the laws will be made with regard to GST. Power to make laws. See the heading of the article. Power to make laws with respect to GST. So we know that what type of taxes are being levied under GST: CGST, SGST, UTGST, IGST, and GST on petroleum products. These 4-5 subjects have been dealt with in this particular article. 246 is सिर्फ इंट्रास्टेट नहीं है, बिकॉज आप देखो सेकंड जो क्लॉज है वो क्लियरली इंटरस्टेट ट्रांजेक्शन के बारे में बताता है कि इंटरस्टेट पे जो टैक्स है वो सेंटर लेवी करेगा. ओके. सो आई होप दिस क्लियर्स योर डाउट अर्चना. एंड मेधा, डिफरेंस बिटवीन लोकसभा एंड राज्यसभा. लोकसभा इज द अपर हाउस ऑफ द पार्लियामेंट, जहां पे सारे लॉज पहले जाते हैं, एंड देयर द मेंबर्स आर द इलेक्टेड रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स. ओके. राज्यसभा में दे आर not elected. Abhinav, I guess amendment in GST law can be done. Yes, Abhinav, you are absolutely right. That we'll do in the GST Council, that's Article 279A will tell you about GST Council, and you will do it in detail. वैसे for simplicity I can explain that in GST law any amendment, GST law में जो amendment है, ये तो GST law को बनाने के लिए पावर की बात हो रही है कि GST law कैसे बनेगा, किसके पास पावर है. बट एक बार जब GST लॉ बन चुका है, विच इज द एग्जिस्टिंग पोजीशन, करंट पोजीशन, उसमें कोई भी चेंजेस करने, इनफैक्ट ये सारे लॉज भी GST काउंसिल ने प्रपोज किए थे. जेनेसिस ऑफ GST में हमने देखा था, we had seen in Genesis of GST that all the laws have been proposed by the GST Council, recommended by the GST Council, and then they have been voted in the both the houses of the parliament. When they were passed by both the houses of the parliament, then the states had ratified them, and after that GST law was introduced. GST is a destination-based tax, Gunjan is saying, which means GST goes to that state to which consumer belongs. SGST paid to that state. What about IGST? That you will do it in these articles. Gunjan, don't worry. अच्छा क्वेश्चन है, लेकिन आपका आज ही क्वेश्चन आंसर हो जाएगा. ओके अभिनव, गुड. सो वी लर्न B2B, B2C आप कर लोगे. मैं आपको लास्ट में वैसे ही बता दूंगी B2B, B2C क्या है, बट अभी आज उसकी जरूरत नहीं है मेधा. तो आई विल टेल यू, डोंट वरी. आप मुझे एक बार लास्ट में फिर से रिमाइंड करा देना. अभी हम जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल प्रोविजंस कर रहे हैं वो अच्छे से ध्यान से करिए। अभी आसपास वाली जो अमेंडमेंट्स हैं वो आप पूछ लेना अभी। व्हाट्सएप ज्वाइनिंग लिंक आई हैड शेयर्ड इन द मेन चैट, so if you want to, nahi, acha, it has not been shared in the main chat. Okay, Nisarg, if you can share the WhatsApp joining link with the students, and all of you should join the WhatsApp group. That will help you a lot. आपको updated रहने में इन classes के लिए that link will help. WhatsApp group will help. This is the pictorial representation. Power is granted to state and center for making the GST laws. However, for petroleum, crude, and petroleum products, it will be levied आफ्टर जीएसटी काउंसिल रिकमेंड्स इट। जीएसटी लॉ में कोई भी चेंज करना है तो जीएसटी काउंसिल को रिकमेंड करना उसके लिए बहुत जरूरी है। दैट इज द सिंपल पॉइंट। अब जब जीएसटी पढ़ रहे हो तो उसकी डेफिनेशन भी पढ़ लेते हैं। जीएसटी की डेफिनेशन क्या है? डेफिनेशन ऑफ जीएसटी इज गिवन, ललित हैज गिवन द आंसर टू बी टू बी2सी। चलो ठीक है, इसको हम अभी ले लेते हैं। बी2सी इज व्हेन यू आर मेकिंग अ सप्लाई टू बिजनेस, बिजनेस टू बिजनेस सप्लाई। जो सप्लाई करनी है वो हमेशा बिजनेस करेगा। तो जो बी2बी या बी2सी में है वो फर्स्ट पॉइंट बिजनेस ही है। बिजनेस से बिजनेस को सप्लाई किया जा रहा है या बिजनेस से कंज्यूमर को सप्लाई किया जा रहा है। सो इफ अ मैन्युफैक्चरर इज सेलिंग और सप्लाइंग सम गुड्स टू अ होलसेलर, इट इज अ बी2बी ट्रांजेक्शन। होलसेलर इज सप्लाइंग गुड्स टू रिटेलर, बी2बी ट्रांजेक्शन, बिजनेस टू बिजनेस ट्रांजेक्शन। बट इफ रिटेलर इज सेलिंग सम गुड्स टू द फाइनल कंज्यूमर, दैट इज बी2सी ट्रांजेक्शन। बेसिकली जहां हम सी की बात करते हैं, कंज्यूमर की बात करते हैं, वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट एन अनरजिस्टर्ड पर्सन, जो जीएसटी में रजिस्टर्ड नहीं है, हम उसको जनरली फाइनल कंज्यूमर मानते हैं। I have quickly answered your question, Medha, but in detail, we'll do it afterwards. Okay, Mohanraj, sorry, I'm speaking more in Hindi. Mohanraj is pointing out. I will try, but Mohanraj, don't worry, that was specific query of Medha, business to business and business to consumer explanation, but I will try to explain everything in English also. Which taxes would be levied? Same taxes would be levied. No change in the tax. Intrastate, same taxes would be levied. You know which tax is levied on interstate transactions. You know which tax is levied on intrastate transactions. In detail, we had done in the last class. Now we see the definition of GST. Goods and services tax की definition क्या है? बहुत simple तरीके से यहाँ पे explain की हुई है. Tax on supply of goods, tax on supply of services. That is the definition of GST. गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज टैक्स है। अगर आप उसको खुद भी ब्रेक करोगे तो आप यही लिखोगे। आपसे इफ somebody asks you in simple words what is goods and services tax, so any layman can tell us this definition: taxes on goods, taxes on services is GST, and that is what article 366(12)(a) has also told us. But it has excluded tax on alcoholic liquor for human consumption, and this all of you know from the first class itself. Okay, so I think there is no confusion. Today also in the beginning of the class I had repeated कि alcoholic liquor for human consumption को constitution ने बाहर किया हुआ है. So alcoholic liquor for human consumption not under GST, but supply of goods, supply of services GST में. GST का मतलब ही यही है. So this is what Article 366(12)(a) says. So if you have a big cake called taxes on goods and services tax, you have to take out the alcoholic liquor for human consumption out of it, because there is no GST on this particular portion. Hope that is clear to you all. Real estate sector is also excluded, but not by constitution, Priyanka. It is excluded by way of Schedule 3, which we will be doing in supply chapter. Okay. But yes, real estate sector is outside the purview of GST. Mohammed is saying, I couldn't find the link to join WhatsApp. Mohammed Zahir, our technical person will share it with you. If not right now, I will ask him to share the link in the WhatsApp, in the chat box after, in the break time. I will ask him. Don't worry, you will get the link of the WhatsApp group today. So this is Article 366(12)(a) pictorial representation, that taxes on goods, taxes on services is there, but alcoholic liquor for human consumption, no taxes there. अब तक तो सबको एकदम याद हो गया होगा ये चीज कि अल्कोहलिक लिकर पे टैक्स नहीं लगता, जीएसटी नहीं लगता. Now we come to the next important article 269(a). Levy and collection of GST on interstate supply. Any article which we are dealing with, go through the heading very carefully. You will get 50% idea from the heading itself. So the article heading says levy and collection of GST on interstate supply. Interstate supply, all of you know, the supplier is in one state, place of supply is in another state or union territory, that is interstate supply. दो अलग अलग जगह पे जब हो रहा है तो वो interstate हो जाता है. Now that interstate supply, on that what tax will be levied, how it will be apportioned, many questions I was getting from in the chat box from all of you. So that we will be answering now. That what is the article 269A, what it actually provides. Other than human consumption, Mohan Raj, it is subject to GST. And for that one, specific exclusion has been there by this Finance Act, Finance number 2 Act 2024, which has also come in the levy section itself. But otherwise, it is subject to GST. Now, if charging section itself makes it out of charge of GST, then GST will not be levied. But otherwise, as per Constitution, alcoholic liquor other than human consumption is within the purview of GST. If it gets excluded from the charging section, then that is a separate thing. So you will see it in the charge chapter that how it is excluded. Now, Article 269 says IGST. This is first we will do this and then we will see this point. GST on interstate supplies shall be levied and collected by the government of India. So on interstate supply, we had seen that center will make the laws. Similarly, IGST will be levied on the interstate supplies of goods and services. In case of interstate supply, IGST will be levied and it will be collected by the government of India. It will be collected and levied by the center. This is the first point. Levy and collection of GST on interstate. So this point is very simple, obvious and clear to you all. Second point comes is IGST. Many students have asked me how it is apportioned between center and state. इतनी ज्यादा सबको टेंशन हो गई कि ये कहीं स्टेट सारा IGST अपने पास ना रख ले, स्टेट्स सेंटर्स अपने पास ना रख ले, स्टेट्स का क्या होगा? तो यू ऑल आर वेरी प्रो टू स्टेट्स और यू आर वेरी कंसर्न अबाउट स्टेट्स की स्टेट्स का क्या होगा? तो सबने पूछा कि कैसे लेवी कैसे डिस्ट्रीब्यूट होगा IGST. तो IGST be apportioned between union and states in the manner provided by parliament by law. Parliament उसके लिए एक law बनाएगा और उस in that manner, the manner in which parliament has suggested, in that manner IGST will be apportioned between center and state. So how much portion center will get, how much portion state will get. Now let me tell you for simplicity, this is 50-50%. Somebody has asked me in the query also that whether it will be equally divided. The manner which center and state had actually, this manner which parliament has actually suggested, that manner is there under section 17 of the IGST Act, and that provides that it will be equally divided between center and state because tax rate also is equal. Same tax rate is there for center and state. So this will be equally divided between center and state. So Mohan Raj, your query is answered, I suppose. Standard ratio is not there. It is standard ratio is 50-50%. Okay. So these 2 points are very simple, very clear to all of you, I suppose. No doubt in this. Third point. Now let me clear this because it's all these points have been written on this. Now, again, a simple point, which does not have any technicality in it, which is the point I was. So again, a simple point. Import of goods, import and export of goods, in fact, is the interstate supply. So if you are importing the goods, then that is the interstate supply. Article 269A. Let me see. Yes, import is an interstate supply. Import export हम सब interstate ही मानते हैं. ये आप मतलब एक general भी है because it is not within a single state. When transaction is occurring in a single state, when transaction is occurring in a single union, in same union territory, that is termed as the intrastate transaction. But import definitely will be in one state and another place will be outside India. So that will be an interstate supply. And on interstate supply, we know that IGST is levied. IGST is levied by whom? Central government. Let us see the next point. So this is the diagrammatic representation. IGST is levied on the interstate supply. This IGST is apportioned in the manner provided by the government. I have told you that is 50-50%. A specific section has provided that. And it will be apportioned between center and state. So don't worry about the state's share in this IGST. State is getting its share because many students are very concerned कि state का क्या होगा भाई इसको share नहीं मिल रहा. So they are getting its share. State is getting its share. Then now another important point. All of you have bank accounts or many of you would have bank accounts, but every person who is operating, who's having some business income, whatever it is, who has some money to with him, they have a bank account. Same way, center and state also have to have their bank accounts, their accounts where their money is kept, where from where they have to make their expenses. That is called Consolidated Fund of India. So, and Consolidated Fund of respective state. So center's bank account, center's account is called Consolidated Fund of India. So all the revenue of the center will go to Consolidated Fund of India. All the revenue of the state will go to Consolidated Fund of State. This terminology you must have heard in newspapers, maybe news also you must have heard about Consolidated Fund of India and respective state. This is the meaning where the revenue goes. यहाँ पे सारा expenditure भी, all expenditure is also incurred from this and revenue also goes in this particular account. Okay. Priyanka, SGST is totally for state. CGST has the portion. CGST is totally for the center, Priyanka. IGST has to be a portion between center and state. So CGST has to go to state, SGST has to go to center, and IGST has to be a portion between center and state. तो ये तो आपकी IGST की बात हुई कि IGST को आपने apportion कर दिया center और state के बीच में. Had it been CGST, it would have gone to center. Had it been SGST, it would have gone to state. Okay. बहुत सिंपल सा पॉइंट है, मतलब कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल प्रोविजंस अभी तक मुझे नहीं लगता कि एनीबडी ऑफ यू वुड हैव थॉट कि कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल प्रोविजंस मुश्किल लग रहे हैं. किसी को लग रहे हैं तो प्लीज टेल मी इन द चैट बॉक्स दैट यू आर फाइंडिंग इट डिफिकल्ट. कार्तिक इज सेइंग इन आईजीएसटी विल स्टेट वेयर गुड्स इंपोर्टेड विल गेट बेनिफिट. Goods where no, he will not get benefit. Ultimately exporting, sorry, importing, हाँ, importing state के पास ही जाएगा. I thought exporting, हाँ, importing state will get the revenue. That is the point, because the bifurcation will be between the center and the state where it is, where they are finally consumed. Okay. Okay. Priyanka is finding the constitutional provisions easy. Good, Priyanka. Others also, I hope, are finding it easy. किसी को difficult. If somebody is finding it difficult, you can tell IGST is divided into. Yes, Manshi, you're right. Absolutely correct. That is what I was telling. Import deemed as interstate supply, ये हमने कर लिया. हिमांशी को भी आसान ही लग रहे हैं प्रोविजंस, तो अच्छी बात है. सबको आसान ही लगनी चाहिए. जिसको मुश्किल लग रहे हैं आप बता सकते हो मुझे. आई विल ट्राई टू मेक इट और मोर सिंपलर. 269A में अब यही बात जो अभी हमने करी है वो एक 269A के क्लॉजेस बताते हैं. We'll just read out it quickly and I hope this will be self-explanatory. CGST is credited to Consolidated Fund of India. SGST is credited to Consolidated Fund of respective states. Now this point which is given here, we'll see it by way of a diagram. This diagram. So before that, let us see this one. First of all, जो place of supply provisions हैं, I have told you interstate, intrastate कैसे निकालते हो आप? Location of supplier and place of supply. If these two lie in one state, it is intrastate. If these two lie in two different states or union territories, that is interstate. तो एक जो आपका one factor or element which you have to see is location of supplier. Second element is place of supply. अब प्लेस लोकेशन ऑफ सप्लायर सबको अभी समझने से इजी लगता है. इफ यू थिंक अबाउट लोकेशन ऑफ सप्लायर, यू कैन सी अच्छा सप्लायर यहाँ है, ये लोकेशन है, इट्स इजी टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट. बट अगर हम बात करें प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई, तो प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई इज नॉट ऑलवेज द प्लेस वेयर दी not always the place which we feel in a particular transaction can be. जैसे services के केस में place of supply is very difficult to ascertain. You have to have specific provisions, specific principles for that, because intangibles है, services are intangibles, you can't see it. आपको example, I will give you an example. For example, auditing services are there. The CA firm is in Delhi and it has to provide the auditing services for an organization which has its offices in all 29 states. So now which state you will assume? The state, and it is some services it is providing from its own place. That means sitting in the in its Delhi office, it is providing the some services, some consultancy services, some auditing advice also can be given sitting in the head office also. Some for certain things it has to go to the respective offices. So how will you determine place of supply? Services के केस में वो ज़्यादा difficult है. Some machinery has to be repaired. So machinery belongs to person who is in state A. Person who is repairing it is in state B. But actually, now whether he is going to state A to repair the machinery or he is getting the machinery in his own state, state B, will it make a difference in place of supply? These points I will not tell you today because they will confuse you. But I just want to tell you कि place of supply के लिए we had to have separate dedicated principles. and those principles will be formulated by the parliament. तो IGST place of supply के provisions भी parliament ही बनाएगा, IGST law भी parliament बनाएगा, IGST levy और collect भी parliament ही करेगा, और principles of place of supply will also be made by the parliament. Okay, ये भी article 269A ही बताता है. Now we come to the next point. ये जो अभी हमने देखा था CGST और SGST कहाँ where will they get credited, that we have seen. Revenue flow. Now the important point. This is a bit point which you need to focus or concentrate. थोड़ा सा इसके ऊपर अभी focus करना है. Before that, I will see if you have any doubts. Medha, let us see how it goes. No, income tax is a separate part. I am only for section B. Income tax is a separate section of taxation paper. You must that will start later on. For that, separate dedicated faculties are there. Yes, Mohanraj, you will get the summarized notes for this. Priyanka, let us see if I teach place of supply or some other faculty, but don't worry, you will understand everything as easily as you are doing it now. If IGST equally, why not keep center and AGST? Achha, you are saying why not CGST and SGST? This is a mechanism actually. We have to have a separate tax. This is how this mechanism, Krishna, has been derived, that you should know. Otherwise, because that is done afterwards. Now, this IGST, CGST, apportionment of IGST into CGST and SGST is done afterwards. In fact, this mechanism is also subject to change. ये तो अभी article 269 ने बताया कि apportion होगा in the manner determined by the parliament. Now, if someday parliament wants to change this manner, they can change it ना. अभी तो आर्टिकल में प्रोवाइड हुआ है, कभी चेंज भी कर सकते हैं, लेकिन अगर यहाँ 50-50 पहले करके CGST और SGST उसका नाम रख दिया तो कभी भी चेंज नहीं कर पाएंगे, वो तो फर्स्ट डे डिसाइड हो जाएगा. तो वो पावर दे हैव टू कीप विद देम ना. दैट इज व्हाई दिस होल मैकेनिज्म हैज बीन डिराइव्ड. थैंक यू मेधा, यू वांट टू लर्न ऑल द टॉपिक्स फ्रॉम मी. Can you explain place of supply in terms of service? Mohan Raj, I will try to do it at the end of the session. I'm just telling you, place of supply in case of services is very difficult to determine, because suppose some property has been rented. Now the person who has rented the property is in Delhi. He has his property in Rajasthan. He has rented it to a person who has come from Mumbai. मुंबई से कोई पर्सन राजस्थान में जॉब करने आया, उसको प्रॉपर्टी चाहिए थी. दिल्ली में कोई पर्सन है, उसकी सॉरी मोहनराज, अ पर्सन हु हैज कम फ्रॉम दिल्ली, sorry, Mumbai, he wants a property in Rajasthan, and that property belongs to a person who is in Delhi. So how will you determine the place of supply of those services? I will not tell you what is place of supply, otherwise you will get confused. In this case, it will be Rajasthan, but don't try to don't try to find that how it has been done. But you need some principles for that. Those principles have to be determined by the parliament. Those principles have to be formulated by the parliament. आप बस इतना याद रखो, place of supply principles will be determined by the parliament, will be formulated by the parliament. Okay, Krishna understood this point. Then Karthik, interstate, half tax will be central government, remaining half will go to which state? That will be the importing state to which it will go. We'll see the a proper illustration for that. No, not to the seller state, it will go to buyer state. What will be the treatment of GST when supply at the state borders? Then also place of supply has to be determined, Abhinav, and then it will be determined whether it is an interstate, intrastate, which state will get it. Meaning of apportion, Himanshi. Apportion का मतलब बांटना. आपने IGST 100 रुपए का कलेक्ट किया, आपको जो आपने ऊपर लिखा है अपनी क्वेरी में, डिवाइडेड, टू हाउ टू डिवाइड इट बिटवीन सेंटर एंड स्टेट. दैट इज व्हाट अपोर्शन इज. Revenue flow as credit flow. No, revenue can be in cash as well as in credit, Ishwarya. So they can be different also. Credit flow may only credit will come. Revenue flow can be both. Consolidated Fund of India, Mohammed, is a kind of a bank account for the central government. All the revenue of the government will come into the Consolidated Fund of India from whatever sources they have got it. And then this entire tax revenue goes to Consolidated Fund of India. And from there, it is used for different expenses. So it's a kind of a simple terms में हम उसे bank account बोल रहे हैं, though it is not a bank account at all, but एक bank account की तरह का है. Similar way, every state also had their consolidated fund. So when CGST is there, it will go to Center's Consolidated Fund of India. SGST will go to Consolidated Fund of that respective state. Okay, Nitin. So you can give it in your feedback. Maybe it is considered. Okay, Harsh also agrees with Medha. Thank you, Harsh, for your kind words. So let us see what happens. But at least for today, we should be in our subject. We should focus. Now, अब जो ये point हम करने वाले हैं, be very, very focused on this sub point. because it's very important और थोड़ा सा different है. Not difficult, different. Now you know that credit flow में हमने किया था when we were doing the continuous chain of credits. So credit the tax paid at one stage is available as credit in the next stage. So CGST and SGST credit can be used for payment of IGST. Similarly, IGST credit can be used for payment of CGST and IGST. This is the principle, simple principle है. अभी हम बहुत डिटेल में कहीं नहीं जाएंगे. फर्स्ट चैप्टर है, अभी बहुत सिंपल रखना है सब कुछ. So in case your अब CGST or SGST, it can be used for IGST. Okay. Now one thing is very clear, CGST और IGST तो दोनों सेंटर के पास जाने हैं, तो चलो वो तो एक पॉकेट से निकल के दूसरी पॉकेट में चला गया. CGST when it goes to for it is used for IGST payment, from one pocket amount money has been taken given to another pocket. That does not make a difference. Center's amount is given to center. But SGST when it is given used for payment of IGST, अब यहाँ पे तो क्या हो रहा है, SGST को जब आपने IGST के लिए यूज किया तो आपने बेचारे स्टेट का पैसा उठा के सेंटर के एक बार के लिए तो दे ही दिया ना सेंटर को. सेंटर विल अपोर्शन इट आफ्टरवर्ड्स. तो वो तो and this settlement, this apportionment, please note down, this apportionment is done once a month, or it is done through clearing mechanism. Clearing mechanism acts an online mechanism through which all the center and state, this IGST is apportioned. All this clearing which happens, it happens once a month. So before that, the amount is parked in different accounts. Now, when SGST has been used for payment of IGST, now this is the case here. So this revenue of pertaining to SGST, now it has used for IGST. अभी IGST बन गया, इसका नाम change हो गया. Now it became IGST. When it went into the basket of IGST, it became IGST. And IGST we have seen it is a portion between state and center. So similar way, this SGST amount when it is uh, you know used for payment of IGST, so it goes into IGST bucket, and subsequently it will be apportioned between center and state. रेवेन्यू अपोर्शन बिटवीन सेंटर एंड स्टेट. ये बहुत सिंपल सा लॉजिक है अगर आप समझो तो, क्योंकि जब हमने बोला SGST I have used for IGST, now it has taken the color of IGST, now it has taken the nature of IGST. अब ये IGST बन गया. जब मैंने SGST को IGST की बकेट में डाला तो अब IGST बन गया वो, और जैसे ही वो IGST बना तो IGST has to be a portion between center and state, that nobody can deny, and that is what this article is telling. Now other way around, IGST has been used for payment of SGST. अब ये उल्टा हो रहा है. SGST पे करना था हमने, we had paid the IGST, we are using it for the payment of SGST. So this was earlier to be apportioned between center and state. IGST had to be apportioned between center and state. Now this before this apportionment could be done, इससे पहले कि ये center और state में हम apportion करते, हमने उसको SGST की पेमेंट के लिए यूज कर दिया. वो तो वंस अ मंथ क्लियरिंग होती है, तो उससे पहले ही बिफोर दैट दिस IGST हैज बीन यूज्ड फॉर पेमेंट ऑफ SGST. So this SGST now becomes a state subject. अब ये SGST goes where? SGST goes to the respective state. तो जैसे ही वो SGST बनेगा, अब now it will take the nature, it will take the color of SGST, and SGST has to be given to the respective state. SGST has to be apportioned to respective state. वो फाइनली उसके consolidated fund में चला जाएगा. अगर आप बहुत सिंपली देखो तो इसमें कोई डिफिकल्ट कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं है. SGST used for payment of IGST, now it became IGST. अब SGST से कोई मतलब नहीं रह गया. आप उसको IGST बोलोगे, IGST की तरह अपोर्शन कर दोगे. IGST used for payment of SGST, now it becomes SGST. SGST goes to the consolidated fund of state. It is directly apportioned to the state. This cross utilization is done before the clearing. So ये हर every month it happens. Now this, when SGST credit is lying with some person, so that credit until it is not used, it is there with SGST in the SGST account. Now once it is used for payment of IGST, it becomes a center levy, and that will be apportioned between center and state if it is finally consumed. If it is at the final consumption state, then it will go to center and state equally. Okay. Now let us see the final table. Now this is the crux of Article 269A. Article 269, we have done lot many points. Let us quickly see how the amount is apportioned. IGST, apportioned between center and state. CGST goes to Consolidated Fund of India. SGST goes to Consolidated Fund of State. I think it seems simple now. IGST used for SGST. Now IGST has become SGST, state tax. So it will go to respective state consolidated fund. SGST has become IGST now because SGST is used for payment of IGST. So IGST, we have seen here a portion between center and state. Same way here also IGST will be a portion between center and state. So I hope this is clear to you all. Technically SGST बेचारा अकेला पड़ गया. It's good, he is getting the whole amount. It's good to be alone, Medha. पैसे मिल रहे हैं यहाँ पे. Aishwarya, चलो, this point is clear. Now after this, 270 article says that 270 is a consequential amendment. In fact, this is not an amendment which was the major amendment. Three major articles were there: 246A, 269A, and 279A. 270 is a residual or consequential amendment. It says that GST revenue has to be distributed between center and state. It is an existing article which provides distribution between center and state. Now, this article provides that the revenue of GST will be distributed between center and states by the order of the president after considering recommendation of the Finance Commission. So Finance Commission will tell how president has to allocate it between center and state finance. After all this, that section has been drafted. So it applies for those tax amounts apportioned or payable to the central government for taxes levied under Article 246A1, 2, and 3. That means CGST, SGST, IGST, UTGST, how they have to be apportioned between center and state. This has been done by virtue of the order which president has made after recommendation of the Finance Commission. This whole point has been drafted, which is there with you. ये जो सभी आपने 269A में अभी पढ़ा, that is by virtue of all these articles only. One message has been put. For students who were asking for the WhatsApp group link, it has been there in the main group. Our technical person has put that. SGST and IGST is used for the payment when you have credit with you, Gunjan, and you have used that credit for payment of the final tax. For this, we have an illustration. That illustration will tell you that how you have to utilize it. That cross utilization, we'll be doing it through the illustration. I'm talking about the flow of input tax credit. Yes, when I said IGST to be used for SGST and SGST to be used for IGST, that is the flow of credit. Summary help करती है प्रियंका? चलो अच्छी बात है. That is good. And Rosie is saying different. Consolidated Fund of India, Rosie, is for the center, and Consolidated Fund of State is for the states, respective state. हर state का अपना एक consolidated fund है. Every state has its own Consolidated Fund of India. So center amount goes to Consolidated Fund of India and state amount goes to Consolidated Fund of State. Okay, Rosie, I think Rosie, your doubt is clear now. Just a minute, students. Just I hope, Rosie, your doubt is now clear. In case you still have doubt, you can ask it. And let us see. Okay, so now all doubts are cleared. So let us move to the next point. Now, in fact, after this, I had decided to take the illustrations, two illustrations, but let me just, postpone them for the next article. Let us do the articles first because we are in a flow. After that, we'll do this these two illustrations. Article 279A is the article for the GST Council. Now, this was one of the most important articles because GST Council की formation बहुत जरूरी थी, उसके लिए Article 279A introduce किया गया, which empowered the President of India to constitute a joint forum of center and states. Why every GST law is passed or is recommended by GST Council? तो ऐसा नहीं है सेंटर खुद से सब कुछ recommend कर देता है. Center is recommending it by GST Council, और GST Council में equal, not equal, GST Council has participation of states as well as center. वो उसकी formation से भी आपको समझ में आएगा. You will see it from its formation that how much say a state has and how much say the center has in the GST Council. We'll just see that. It will also, as we have seen it time and again, that it will tell us the date from which petroleum products will come into GST. एंड डिस्प्यूट रेजोल्यूशन मैकेनिज्म, ये तो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है क्योंकि सेंटर्स की लड़ाई, जब स्टेट्स की जब लड़ाई होगी आपस में या होती भी है, and states fight with each other for anything, then who resolves it? GST Council. The GST Council is the main, you can say, the single point of contact or the common platform for the GST legislations, for GST disputes, resolutions, any recommendations, any changes, any amendments which have to be made in GST law is through dispute resolution mechanism. Okay. How many members all this will do? So it was constituted on 15 September 2016, way before implementation of GST. In fact, the GST bills which were placed in the parliament and the legislature, state legislatures, they were drafted initially by GST Council. They were the model GST laws, which they were the bills which were initially drafted and they were placed in their respective houses and then they got passed. तो ये सारा जो GST का process है वो GST Council की formation से ही शुरू हुआ. They had been at the core of the helm of the affairs. So key functions, this is the pictorial representation, but we'll be doing it in detail. Somebody asked me you are asking about the members, but this is the voting share. So you can see how much say center has 1/3 voting weightage. So center vote has 1/3 weightage and states have 2/3 weightage for any decision to be made. इसीलिए if you see the proceedings of the GST Council, you can go to GST Council website just for your interest purpose. You can go, आप देखो वहाँ पे कैसे सारे हर बार मीटिंग होती है तो उससे पहले एजेंडा प्लेस होता है, then minutes are also uploaded. Then if you go through any of the amendments discussion, you will actually got to know why this amendment has actually taken place, what were the problems these states were suffering, why they proposed this amendment and how it got passed, how many states were against it, how many were for it. So that way the amendments are taken place or they are suggested and then they actually get passed. This is the composition of the GST Council, Priyanka. Union Finance Minister, who is Nirmala Sitharaman, she is the chairperson. Okay. And Union Finance Minister of the state in charge of revenue or finance. Every state has the state union finance ministers, the finance minister of every state is the member. Apart from that, we have the minister in charge of finance or taxation or other ministers nominated by, so states can also nominate some members, some ministers for the GST Council. So they represent that state, whatever problems are there faced by that state, so agenda lists some suggestions or some problems, some proposals. So every state, they get a chance to discuss it in the meeting, put forward their point if they have some points to put forward, and then the decision is taken by voting. So how much, first of all, what is the quorum? Quorum is half of the total members. So जितने members हैं सारे state, सारे सबका एक अपना उसमें representation होता है, center का अपना representation है उसमें. And then quorum is half of the states, so at least half of the states should be present. Then the meeting can be considered to be a valid meeting. And decisions are taken by 3/4. तो बहुत strong majority के साथ decisions लिए जाते हैं, and that to the weighted vote. So that is multiplied by the weights also, and then 3/4 majority should be there. Okay. So ऐसा नहीं है कि अगर 51% is are in agreement with a particular proposal, that will be taken. 3/4 majority is required of the members present. 3/4 of the weighted votes of the members. Now, what recommendation GST Council can make? This was initially which was made. कौन से taxes GST में subsume होने? That was also recommended by GST Council. Just for the interest purpose, you should know this. otherwise ये सब कुछ हो चुका है. Exemptions. अब exemptions, certain exemptions were introduced with the advent of the GST itself. If you see, after that also many amendments have taken, many exemptions have been added. Some exemptions which were initially there, they have been taken away. So these exemptions, change in the exemptions is suggested by GST Council. और वो सब स्टेट्स को अलग अलग प्रपोज करते हैं स्टेट्स की भाई ये हमारे स्टेट में दिस एक्टिविटी इज वेरी प्रेवलेंट, वी शुड गिव सम बेनिफिट टू द this particular sector, so that exemption, and somebody wants to withdraw some exemption because they feel that now it's no more required. Model GST laws were framed by the GST Council. This provides that principles of levy and apportionment of IGST. हमने वहां पे किया था आर्टिकल में that this will be framed by law, और वो law that how GST had to be apportioned, that was also framed by the GST Council. All the rates of GST, they are suggested, they are recommended by GST Council, and then the notification comes. So this I hope is clear. GST Council का role क्या है? GST Council is at the helm of affairs, at the core of all the functions. GST Council makes special provisions for the special category states. ये special category states is a very important term which you will come across throughout the discussion of GST law. आपको पूरे GST law में ये special category states बार बार देखने के लिए मिलेगा कि इनके अब ये स्पेशल कैटेगरी स्टेट्स एक्चुअली में है क्या. व्हाई डू वी नीड टू मेक सम स्टेट्स स्पेशल, फील स्पेशल, और व्हाई डू वी नीड टू गिव सम स्पेशल स्टेट्स अ स्पेशल स्टेटस कि आप स्पेशल हो हमारे लिए. यू आर अ स्पेशल कैटेगरी स्टेट because these states either are financially or geographically or by not culturally I would say, but maybe because by way of development they have some, they are on a back foot, they need some hand holding from the government. फ्रॉम जीएसटी पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, जब जीएसटी लॉ आया तो उनको थोड़ी हैंड होल्डिंग चाहिए थी. हैंड होल्डिंग मतलब इफ थ्रेशोल्ड लिमिट फॉर रजिस्ट्रेशन इज रिक्वायर्ड, नाउ वी से कि टिल 20 lakhs you do not need to pay any GST, but for these states a lower limit was kept because there the businesses are very generally business are very small. So if you keep a higher limit, very almost all the businesses will go away from that, and the government will not get the revenue. So lower threshold limit was kept. Same for the composition scheme. In composition scheme we said till 1.5 crore no tax, no sorry, composition rate has to be paid. For these states, it was capped as 75 because they require some more revenue, and their, businesses are small. They cannot go up to such a higher level, or very few businesses will be there. Most of the businesses will be at operating at a lower level. So these states, they required special provisions. So you will find different at different point of time when we are dealing with this in GST law, that different provisions are there for these special category states. Now these states are Jammu and Kashmir. आप इन states का नाम when you will go through these states नहीं ना, you will realize कि इनको जरूरत है. कुछ है जैसे नॉर्थ ईस्ट के सब स्टेट्स आपको यहाँ मिलेंगे. जम्मू कश्मीर यहाँ पे है. हिमाचल प्रदेश because of its geographical terrain it has some disadvantages, so it requires special treatment. So these are the states: Jammu Kashmir, Assam, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Uttarakhand, Nagaland. Uttarakhand also, I think, because of the geographical terrain. Sikkim, Nagaland, Arunachal Pradesh, Tripura, Himachal Pradesh. Now, how do we need to remember these states? So for that, we again have made an acronym. This is the way you can remember them. Now, this is Jamun Sat. You, if you can make something interesting, something more easy to memorize on your own, you can share it with us also. This is what I could think of, so I have shared it with you. This M has power to 3 because there are 3 M's here. Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram. All 3 belong to northeastern states. Apart from that, JAMMMUNSATH is the special category states list. Total 11 states are there in the special category states. Okay, so I hope this is clear to you. Okay, Priyanka, I will try to give you an example. Don't worry. Let me see if any doubt is there, because this is the section 279A. WhatsApp link again. Okay, Yashaswini, it is there in the chat box. It is there in the common chat box for joining the WhatsApp group. I think it does not allow me to copy. Let me check if it allows. No, I cannot copy it. So you can see in the main chat box. There you will find that. Yashaswini, you will find it in the main chat box. Oh, Shraddha, you find it fantastic. Thank you. So, Noshin, Jammu, Jamun, and Saad is fine with others. Nausheen has given something, Jammu and Chand. Okay, let me see if this is right. Let me share it on the screen. Okay. So when I share the notes with you, I will share this one also. If yes, this is the one he has given M. Here there is one more M, which is here. Jammu Shant. You can take this also. So whichever way you find it easy to remember, the only point is you should memorize it. So we have given you two. One is given by Nausheen Fatima. Good Nausheen, you have immediately devised something. So these are the two acronyms for remembering special category states names. क्योंकि यहाँ पे जब आप threshold limit करोगे या आपको threshold limit में there is a separate amendment also that we'll see afterwards. But for composition, everything we should know. What example you need, Himanshi? Tell me for the example. What type of example you want? Okay. Tamara Selvi wants to have a 5 minutes break. Don't worry, I will give you a break. Okay. Very well explained. Thank you, Anita. So please provide your feedback also for the same. 248. Now, before giving the break, let me quickly take now the other residual constitutional provisions because I want to just give you an idea about supply today, and then we'll start with our quiz. But our quiz will be based on just chapter 1. So all of you during the break, take out your separate devices and join the link. I will share with you the QR code also so that all of you can join the quiz. But we will discuss, we will have some more discussion about the topics, and then almost at 8:25 or 8:30, we'll start the quiz. It will be a small, quick quiz, and all of you have to participate in it, but during the break, join it. So now section Article 248. Article 248 has residual powers of legislation. These consequential amendments, I will take it quickly. You also after the class you can go through it, you can take the notes also, and you can go through the study material also, but please allow me to quickly complete it so that we can have at least some idea of supply today, to so that you can have some food for thought for the next class also. What kind of benefits they get, Himanshi? I told you that lower threshold limit is there. उनकी threshold limit कम होती है, उनको ज्यादा रेवेन्यू, उनका मेन ऑब्जेक्टिव है रेवेन्यू ज्यादा मिले. तो जब आप रजिस्ट्रेशन लेने जाओगे तो नॉर्मल स्टेट में आपको 20 लाख 40 लाख की लिमिट मिलेगी, वहां 10 लाख होगी. तो वहां जितने भी छोटे बिजनेसमैन है सबको रजिस्ट्रेशन लेना पड़ेगा. कॉम्पोजिशन स्कीम वैसे 1.5 करोड़ के टर्नओवर तक अलाउड होती है, वहां पे 75 तक ही होगी, 75 लाख के टर्नओवर तक ही होगी. तो वहां पर रेवेन्यू को इंक्रीज करने के लिए इस तरह के प्रोविजन स्पेशल कैटेगरी स्टेट्स के लिए लाए जाते हैं ताकि उनका रेवेन्यू बढ़े. दे आर फाइनेंशियली ऑल्सो दे आर बैकवर्ड. मुन्ना जी साथ. Okay, so one more acronym, and at least somebody is, you people are trying. Let me share it with you. And these, whatever you are suggestions you are giving to me, I will share it with your friends also, because you never know. क्योंकि आप लोग जो खुद डिवाइस करते हो वो आपको शायद जल्दी याद रहता है. तो दिस इज मुन्ना जे एंड साथ. मुन्ना जी के साथ आप ऐसे ऐसे पढ़ सकते हो. सो दीज आर डिफरेंट वेज ऑफ रिमेम्बरिंग दिस, बट गुड यू ऑल आर डिवाइसिंग. ये तो जितना मैं आपको एक्रोनिम्स दे रही हूँ आप उससे अच्छे खुद भी डिवाइस कर सकते हैं. एंड इफ यू हैव डिवाइस एनीथिंग, शेयर विद अस इन द चैट बॉक्स. इन नेक्स्ट क्लास आल्सो यू कैन शेयर. वी विल शेयर इट विद एवरीवन. 248 आर्टिकल क्या कहता है? 248 आर्टिकल कहता है कि जो आपके, लेट अस सी द पिक्टोरियल रिप्रेजेंटेशन, यू विल फाइंड इट इजी. यूनियन लिस्ट center has the power to make. On state has the power to make the laws, and concurrent list, state and center both have the power. So except this two list, whatever residual subjects are there, this is the union list. So union list center has the exclusive power. But if some residuary subjects are there, now what residuary subjects can be there? For example, earlier cyber laws were not there. So till the time any law, some new concept has come, some new area has come where laws have to be drafted. Cryptocurrency is the area where laws need to be drafted. So when there was no particular entry in any of the articles, any of the lists or schedules, till that time those residuary subjects center has the power to make. हमने पहले क्या किया था, सीखा था कि सेंटर को हमेशा प्रायोरिटी मिलेगी हर जगह, और वो हम सारे आर्टिकल्स में कहीं ना कहीं we'll observe that center has a priority, center has an upper hand in all the things. Okay. Priyanka, I'm just coming to that only. Don't worry. So पावर, लेकिन अब इसके अंदर हमने बोला कि जितने भी बचे हुए सब्जेक्ट्स हैं, except these state and concurrent list, all other subjects state center can make the laws. but it is subject to Article 246A. Why is it subject to Article 246A? Because 246 is a separate mechanism itself. वहाँ सेंटर और स्टेट की पावर्स अलग तरीके से डिफाइन की गई हैं. There the how the GST mechanism will work, that has been separately devised, separately explained and discussed. So we cannot blanketly say that whatever is not there in state and union concurrent list, सेंटर हैज टू मेक लॉस. हमारा तो जीएसटी लॉ ही गलत हो जाएगा उससे, क्योंकि हम अभी बात कर रहे हैं कि आपको सेंटर और स्टेट दोनों बना सकते हैं, दोनों टैक्सेस लगा सकते हैं जीएसटी के केस में, दोनों उस पर लॉस बना सकते हैं. तो वो तो हमारा बेसिक प्रमाइस ऑफ जीएसटी विल गो रॉन्ग इफ वी अलाउ दिस, इफ वी डू नॉट अमेंड दिस 248 कहता है एक्सेप्ट सेंटर स्टेट एंड कॉन्करेंट लिस्ट रिमेनिंग matters, center can make the laws. So that has to be subject to 246A, because 246A has a separate mechanism. So this power has been amended, and now this will be subject to 246A. So 246A will not be, is a separate, it is an exception. It is an exception to Article 248. So I hope this is clear. Priyanka, this would be clear to you? Okay. Yeah, I'm getting new mnemonics. I will share all these mnemonics with in my notes. Don't worry. Quiz will be based, Karthik, on chapter 1. Today's class plus something which we revised in the beginning. So that's why I got those important points revised. 249 and 250 were also amended. 249 said that in case there is some matter of national interest, then in that case, कोई ऐसा मैटर है जो बहुत नेशनल इंटरेस्ट का मैटर है, तो उस केस में if 2/3 of the majority is there, then Council of States, that is the Rajya Sabha, has the power to make laws with respect to the state list also. Rajya Sabha is also a house of parliament. In that case, so that the Rajya Sabha has passed a resolution that this is a matter of national interest. As some issue has cropped up in this manner, that where they feel that this is a matter of national interest and this is a state subject, but still center should make laws on that particular subject because of it is such situation has cropped up that it is important in the national interest. कुछ ऐसा है कि आपको लगता है कि आप देश के हित में तो ये करना ही पड़ेगा कि सेंटर उस पे लॉज बनाए, जबकि वो स्टेट सब्जेक्ट है. इन दैट केस, और या फिर इमरजेंसी अगर डिक्लेयर हो जाती है, इमरजेंसी सिचुएशन में भी सारे स्टेट सब्जेक्ट्स पे सेंटर कैन मेक द लॉज. दैट आई ऑलरेडी डिस्कस इन द लास्ट क्लास ऑल्सो. ये भी वही बताता है कि सेंटर हैज मोर पावर. सो इन दैट केस पार्लियामेंट हैज द राइट टू लेजिस्लेट द matters, legislate with respect to matters listed in state list. State list के subjects पे center laws बना सकता है in two cases, where it is in the national interest or where emergency is declared. In these two cases. अब इस केस में हमने पावर हैज बीन एक्सटेंडेड टू जीएसटी ऑल्सो, क्योंकि जीएसटी भी इमरजेंसी और नेशनल इंटरेस्ट से ऊपर नहीं है. तो अगर वो केस आ जाता है कि आपका नेशनल इंटरेस्ट मतलब अफेक्ट हो रहा है, इफ योर नेशनल इंटरेस्ट इज गेटिंग अफेक्टेड, if the emergency has been declared in the country, then in that case GST के केस में भी पार्लियामेंट मतलब for GST also parliament will have the exclusive power to make the laws. Then GST will not be an exception. So this is this is the why 249 and 250 has been changed. That in that case कि state की जो, क्योंकि otherwise तो center has the power to make laws for concurrent list, for union list, for residuary matters. सिर्फ स्टेट वाली जो लिस्ट थी वो बची हुई थी, बिकॉज 248 डज नॉट से कि 240 आप स्टेट लिस्ट बना सकते हो. GST has a separate mechanism. GST has also been included in this, that in case of in case of emergency, in case of national interest being affected, GST law can also be made by the parliament. This is the consequential amendment. Next is 268 article that has been amended. बहुत सिंपली इसको समझते हैं इस आर्टिकल को. See, duties which have been 268, the duties which have been levied, two duties 268 deals with. It says that these two duties, they are levied by the center and they will be collected by the states. Which two duties? Stamp duty. Stamp duty union levy करता है, but collect respective states करते हैं. Stamp duty is levied by the center and collected by the respective states. Similarly, we had the duty of excise on medicinal and toilet preparation. बहुत simple सी amendment है, इसलिए मैं इसको ज़्यादा time नहीं लगाऊंगी. In this case, this medicinal duty of excise on medicinal and toilet preparations, this has been subsumed in GST. That is why this article has been amended to exclude this. So this has been deleted. Now only stamp duty is there in Article 268, which will be collected by the center, which will be levied by the center and collected by the state. Okay, so I think this is simple and we'll not go into depth of it. Quickly, we'll cover it. So two types of duties were there, stamp duty and duties of excise on medicinal and toilet preparation. So duties of excise on medical and toilet preparation subsumed in GST. So it is deleted or omitted from this particular article. I hope clear. 268A. We are going it quickly. You can revise it from the notes as well as from the study material. But let me complete it. Article 268 omitted. 268 तो बहुत ही simple है. Service tax. Service tax के लिए this article was introduced. And now service tax is not there. So this article has been omitted. Okay. So no service tax, no Article 266. So 268A. Because this was giving power to central government to levy service tax. अब service tax ही नहीं है तो सेंटर के पास इस पावर की जरूरत नहीं है. 271 amended. 271 क्या कहता है? 271 provides that the parliament center has the power to levy surcharge on any of the duties. Surcharge और cess में फर्क है. Cess we discussed in the last class. Cess is for a particular purpose. For a particular expense we are collecting the money. That is cess. That कृषि कल्याण cess, agriculture and infrastructure cess, education cess. That will be used for that particular purpose. GST compensation cess. So that will be used for that particular purpose only. सरचार्ज इज टैक्स ऑन टैक्स. जो आपने इनकम, अभी खैर आपने इनकम टैक्स भी नहीं पढ़ा है, पर इनकम टैक्स में भी सेम वे सरचार्ज वर्क्स. इट इज अ टैक्स ऑन टैक्स. उस टैक्स के ऊपर आपका एक सर्टेन परसेंटेज डिफाइंड होता है. टू इंक्रीज योर रेवेन्यू, पार्लियामेंट कैन लेवी द surcharge on any of the duties, and these duties are which are referred in Article 269 or 270. But this surcharge is not shareable with between center and state. It is not divided between center and state. It remains with the center. Now, the intention was not to include GST in it. GST इसमें से specifically exclude किया गया because tax on tax हमें GST पे नहीं चाहिए. We do not want to have tax on tax in case of GST, and that is why surcharge is not permitted to be levied on the GST. इसलिए 271 आर्टिकल जो सरचार्ज लेवी करने की पावर देता है, और from that article GST has been specifically excluded. Okay, so surcharge is from the purview of surcharge. GST has been excluded. I hope this is also simple and clear. Let me take some queries before we move to the next article. Just have a you have a glance at this article and let me see that what are the queries. प्रियंका, हिंदी में एक बार आपको जानना है. कॉन्सिक्वेंशियल अमेंडमेंट का मतलब प्रियंका होता है कि किसी एक अमेंडमेंट को कैरी करने के लिए, मेन अमेंडमेंट के लिए हम छोटी छोटी जो बाकी अमेंडमेंट्स करते हैं कि वो जरूरी हो जाती हैं. जैसे आपने जीएसटी लॉ इंट्रोड्यूस किया, अब उसकी वजह से आपने देखा ये जो बाकी अमेंडमेंट्स जो हम पढ़ रहे हैं, जैसे आप, मैं इसी में आपकी बात करूं, इसी वाली अमेंडमेंट की 248 की या 268A, अब क्योंकि सर्विस टैक्स नहीं है तो हटाना पड़ रहा है. तो ये एक बड़ी अमेंडमेंट की वजह से जो अदर अमेंडमेंट्स, मतलब कॉरस्पॉन्डिंग या रिलेटेड अमेंडमेंट्स जो हमें करनी पड़ती है, छोटी छोटी और अमेंडमेंट्स जो हमें करनी पड़ती हैं, दे आर दी कॉन्सिक्वेंशियल अमेंडमेंट्स. इसीलिए मैं उनको थोड़ा जल्दी कर रही हूँ बिकॉज आपको मेन क्रक समझ में आ गए. मेन 3 आर्टिकल्स थे 246A, 269A, 279A. वो हमने बहुत अच्छे से की. वी हैव डन दीज 3 आर्टिकल्स इन ग्रेट डिटेल. नाउ वी आर डूइंग द अदर आर्टिकल्स क्विकली बिकॉज वहां समझना आसान है, सिंपल है. दे आर बिकॉज ऑफ द अमेंडमेंट मेड इन द जीएसटी लॉ. ओके, जीएसटी में सरचार्ज नहीं लगेगा. यू आर राइट. कॉम्पनसेशन सेस जो है वो लग्जरी और सिन गुड्स पे लगता है. एब्सोल्युटली करेक्ट प्रियंका. अमेंडेड एंड omitted. अमेंडेड का मतलब होता है, अमेंडेड इज की सम चेंज हैज टेकन प्लेस इन दैट पर्टिकुलर. रोजी, इट मींस सम चेंज हैज टेकन प्लेस इन दैट पर्टिकुलर प्रोविजन आर्टिकल. omitted मतलब इट इज कंप्लीटली डिलीटेड, पूरी तरह से खत्म हो गया है वो. दैट इज omitted. ओके. Medha, Article 249 and 250 are in book, Medha. You just have to see they are in the book. Maybe not in this sequence, that could be there. Internet is a residuary subject. I have to check, Mohan Raj, because I do not remember the entire list. But if you have given an example, that is good. And okay, residuary, it's not there in any of the 3 lists. That means you want to say. So we need to check that because I don't remember the exact list, but that's good. Riddhi Bain is also asking for the break. Riddhi, but just give me 5 minutes more. Let me quickly complete the articles, and then you can have, at least in the break, you can relax. You don't have any burden in your mind that you have to go through these articles after the break also. Creation of All India Service. For what purpose you have given this, Ashok? Ashok bhai, you can tell me why articles are not in order, because actually related, I had taken three, Ishwarya, in book you will find all the articles in sequence, but here I have not taken in order because I wanted to cover first three main articles so that your focus could be there. Otherwise क्या होता है कि वो बीच बीच में ये articles आते हैं, आप main point appreciate नहीं कर पाते. That is why I have taken these three articles first. Otherwise, you can do it in sequence also. When you are revising, you can do it in sequence. How important are these articles from exam point of view? That you have to see from the past examination, Vichita. But these articles are very important for the knowledge point of view, for knowing the law, for understanding the law. अगर आप इसी तरह से समझते हुए चलोगे तो आपको लास्ट तक लॉ बिल्कुल अच्छे से समझ में आएगा. इसीलिए आई डोंट वांट टू गिव लेस इंपॉर्टेंस टू एनीथिंग. सो आर्टिकल्स आर ऑल्सो इंपॉर्टेंट. और कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन आप पढ़ रहे हो, आप ये सोचो तो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. आर्टिकल 286 बोलता है कि स्टेट्स के नॉट मेक लॉज ऑन द इंटरस्टेट सेल और परचेज ऑफ गुड्स और इंपोर्ट और एक्सपोर्ट ऑफ गुड्स. दिस इज वेरी ऑब्वियस कि इंटरस्टेट ट्रांजेक्शन के ऊपर स्टेट कैन नॉट लेवी द टैक्स. Central sales tax was also levied by the states, center only. It was collected by states, but it was levied by the states only. So this point is correct. This is what Article 286 provides. Now here, from the, this is very residual, this is very consequential type of amendment. That means it was required. Sale now has been substituted with supply. Sale or purchase, it has been substituted with supply, and goods have been substituted with goods and goods or services or both, because we in GST we use the word supply instead of sale. After the advent of GST, goods has become goods or services. This amendment has taken place. Then we have an amendment in clause 3 of Article 286. Clause 3 pertains to goods of special importance. Goods of special importance was prevalent under the CST law, because there were certain goods which had some national importance. On that, the Parliament used to make laws, and if any state want to levy tax on these of the items, they were generally the goods of special importance can be cereals, क्योंकि cereal is something which you are which is feeding the people. So उसका कोई ऐसा लॉ नहीं बनना चाहिए which will be detrimental for the people. There should be uniform laws. तो उसके लिए पार्लियामेंट के कुछ प्रिंसिपल्स थे, कुछ रूल्स थे which had to be followed. Then we had crude oil, cotton yarn, jute, iron and steel, pulses, edible oil. आप सब देखोगे बहुत ही मतलब essential items हैं for any person. So there were 14 goods of special importance on which the Parliament had the exclusive power to set the rules, and on the basis of that only state could levy the tax. But अभी आपके लिए simple क्या है कि this clause has been omitted. This is just for your information, just for your knowledge purpose. You should know this. Otherwise इसका कोई और purpose नहीं है. आपको पता होना चाहिए बस कि हाँ clause 3 में कुछ goods of special importance वाला tax लग रहा था. अब वो यहाँ से omit हो गया. क्यों omit हुआ है? बस उसका reason मैं आपको बता देती हूँ. This has been subsumed in GST. Okay. Now last article. After this we'll take a break, and then we'll come with the that illustration is left and supply provisions, and then we'll have the quiz. Quiz के लिए सब prepare हो जाना, join कर लेना. I will share the QR code. Article 368 has been amended. 368 बोलता है कि आपको जो भी 368 is only the ratification power which was provided to the states. कि जैसे आपने GST law, you know that Parliament has passed the central legislations, then states had to ratify them in their state legislatures. So at least 2/3 of the majority in both the houses of the Parliament was required for passing these laws in the center, at the central level, and ratification by at least half of the states was important. So once the GST law was passed by the center, at least half of the states had to pass the GST law for making it a legislation. So this was what was recommended by GST Council and how it proceeded. Okay. Then after the break, we'll deal with supply under GST. But let me take you to the QR code for the quiz. Okay. So that you can join it. After the break, you all should be prepared, but we will have some concept of supply. We'll have that illustration. Then we will start with this quiz. So I think it is my screen on the screen. PPT must be coming. So let me share the screen with you. Is my screen visible to you all? Okay, Medha, if 42, 49, and 250 is not there, let me see it and I will see you next class. Maybe in the break, if I get a chance to see it, I will tell you. Don't worry. Even if it is not there, you have got to know this, but let me see why is it not there. Let me see. Visible to you. Okay, okay. So you can join the quiz in the break, but let me first tell you that please give the feedback for today's class, and you know where to give the feedback. So break you can use for joining this link, you use for relaxing, or you can give the feedback also if you want to continue with such type of classes. So please do provide your feedback in the break. Okay, nisar break लगा दीजिए. nisar I think ब्रेक लगा दीजिए 5 मिनट्स का. ओके. Welcome back, students. On your screen, you have the QR code. I will keep it for 2 minutes. So those of you who have not joined the quiz, they can join through this QR code. I have shared the QR code, the code of the quiz also, link for the quiz also in the chat box. And I will show it through the way of my slide also. In my slides also, I had uh, the slide where I have given the code. So let us go to that code. Okay, I have to go to that particular screen. Yes, this is the GST Titans quiz. So I will see who will be the GST Titan. So last time it was Manav. Now let us see in today's class who will be this. This is the link, the quiz for joining the quiz, and then the code I have shared. Let me share the code again. Um, just a minute. Let me share the code. Code is 539017. Those who are in the YouTube, who are watching the session through YouTube, 539017 is the code through which you can join. You should join through this link and go to the put this code. And we have the QR code also, so you can go through this. You can scan this code and you can join the quiz. We will be conducting quiz after almost 20 minutes. And in the meantime, I will give you just 1 minute to share your feedback at this particular place on the BOS Knowledge Portal. In LBC feedback, you have to just select today's date and you have to select the session. And this way you will get the questions which you have to answer for giving the feedback. So those of you who want to give any feedback for today's class, you want any improvement, you want to continue with certain activities which we are conducting in the class. So please do share your feedback. That is very valuable for us for improving these classes and for continuing the best features of these classes. To make these classes most useful for you, please give your feedback. If you can, I will give you just 1 minute time if you can give the feedback at this point of time. Those of you who have joined the quiz and those who are yet to join the quiz, I will share the QR code so that you can join the quiz. But after that, we'll take the concept first and then we'll conduct the quiz. So in quiz, you'll get comparatively less time. So you have to be very attentive and very fast in the quiz. So this is the QR code through which you have to join the quiz. Okay, Priyanka, you have joined. Last time, 2, 3 students were there who could not join. So I want them also to join the. And in the meantime, Harini had asked me to explain Article 248 again. So, Harini, for Article 248, let me tell you that 248 says that for the, that union list, center has to make the laws. For state list and concurrent list, for state list, state has to make laws, and for concurrent, both can make the laws. Now, with regard to any residual matter which is not given in the state list or in the concurrent list, any residuary matter is there. I give you the example of cryptocurrency, cyber laws. Earlier, the laws were not there for them. So those laws can be made by the center. Center has the exclusive power to make laws with regard to those subjects, those matters which are residuary in nature, which are not there in state list, which are not there in concurrent list. Union list is anyhow belongs to center only, but something which is not provided in any of the list belongs to center only. Now here 246 has been an exception. 246A. 246A section is for the GST law framing. So GST law, you cannot say something which is a residuary center can make the power. GST law can be because it's not there in any of the list. But center does not get the power to make laws on GST. We have a separate framework under Article 246A for the GST law. So I hope most of you would have joined the quiz by this time, and those who had joined the quiz would have provided the feedback also. So let us move to the class now and let us cover the residuary remaining topics. Before the break, one doubt was there regarding the ratification also. Somebody asked me, what do you mean by the ratification? Actually, when I say ratification by the states, that means some amendment which has taken place in the parliament that is ratified by the states. Approval, final approval to those amendments are given by the states, and that final approval, when it is given by the state legislatures to some amendment which is made by the center, is known as the ratification by the. states. That is what Article 368 also provides, that states have to ratify that. Okay, I hope that you got that point. Now, quickly, I want to cover the uh, remaining. Sorry, we have actually been almost at the end of the presentation. I want to cover that illustration which is there. Or if you want to start with supply, then that illustration we can cover in next class also, though I had because I just want to give some idea about supply that will create some interest in you. Till now we had done articles today that might have been a bit uh, repetitive for you, all the articles we have done. So if time permits, revenue flow again. Okay, you want to know revenue flow, Madiha, which revenue flow you are talking about, the state and center revenue flow. Okay, if time permits, definitely I will tell you, don't worry. Otherwise, I will give you notes also. You can write to me at IDT-inter also for this. Taxes subsumed in GST, you had Medha, which doubt you have in taxes subsumed in GST? You want me to have that slide again, or you have some specific doubt in any tax? You can write. I will let you know. Okay. So supply under GST. We'll start with supply under GST. That illustration, I will definitely take. Don't worry, I will not leave that illustration. That is important. Supply under GST is the taxable event. So this is chapter 2 of our study material. Okay, you didn't understand the whole concept. Don't worry. I will take you through that concept again. I have to take that slide again. So I will take out that slide and I will explain it to you. And these PPTs, Ashok bhai, you will get these PPTs in your GST knowledge portal. Sorry, BOS knowledge portal. You will get these PPTs. This is the BOS knowledge portal where you had to give feedback also. And here only you will have these PPTs in the notes. So when you click on these classes which you are attending, these are May 26th and September 20. Here all the notes will be given. This also prompts you for the schedules for the feedback. These you will get all these notes in these tabs. Okay. So let us come to the PPT. Okay, Article 268 again. I will explain. Don't worry. But Hina, you're unable to submit the done feedback. Okay, Hina, now you have submitted the feedback. Earlier you were unable. You can give the feedback for the previous classes also if it is possible, because those links have also been activated now. Okay, so now you got this point. And let us see if any doubt is there. So 268, somebody asked me the doubt. Let me see. 268. Okay, 268A is, it's not 268. Somebody before the break told me that 249 and 250 are not there. So it is on page number 41. I had seen the study material. Actually, heading 249 and 250 is not given, that it is amendment to section to article 249 and 250. But that article is there on page, I think, let me once again check. It's page number 41. So someone from anyone has somebody has pointed this out that 249 and 250 is not there. So let that person may again check that it's there. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Himanshi. Okay. Medha has asked that. So Medha, you once again check page number 41 of this chapter. You will get it. Okay. Now Article 268. So Article 268, what does it actually says? It says that there are certain duties which were levied by center, but they were collected by the state governments. Two such duties were stamp duty and duty of excise on medical and toilet preparations. So duty of excise on medical and toilet preparation has been subsumed in GST, and that is why this article has undergone an amendment and this has been removed. Okay, this is the article. So that stamp duty still prevails, that is still there. But this second duty, since it was subsumed in GST, it was deleted from here. Now this duty, this mention of this duty is not there in this article. This is a consequential amendment only, because it said it is no more required because of the introduction of the GST. Now let us start with the concept of GST. So for GST, for discussing GST, we should know, discussing supply under GST, sorry, for discussing the concept of supply, we should first of all see the cycle of supply और cycle of GST. GST cycle कैसे काम करती है? GST में सबसे पहले आपको इसी सीक्वेंस में हमारे सारे चैप्टर्स भी हैं, you will see. We first of all have to see whether any activity is supply or not. Okay, then वो अब आज की क्लास से शुरू कर देंगे सप्लाई क्या होता है. Once an activity is supply, then we will see whether it is chargeable to GST or not. If it is chargeable to GST, we'll determine place of supply. Place of supply से we'll be able to determine whether it is an interstate supply or an intrastate supply. Once we know the nature of supply, then we'll go to the respective exemption list. Exemption list which exempts GST on particular goods and services. So the exemption, we'll check the respective exemption list and we'll see whether our item or our product or service is exempt under GST or not. If it is not exempt under GST, if it is exempt, we'll stop here. But if it is not exempt, हो सकता है हम यहाँ भी स्टॉप हो जाएं कि सप्लाई तो है बट चार्जिंग सेक्शन से बाहर है. चार्जिंग सेक्शन से बाहर नहीं है तो प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई डिटरमिन करके एग्जेम्पशन देखेंगे. इफ इट इज एग्जेम्प्ट देन अगेन वील स्टॉप हियर. इफ इट इज नॉट एग्जेम्प्ट then we'll find out the time at which the tax has to be paid. हम वो टाइम देखेंगे किस टाइम पे टैक्स पे करना है. बिकॉज ऐसा नहीं है कि अभी जीएसटी का इवेंट हुआ, मान लीजिए आपने रात में कोई सेल की तो सुबह जीएसटी आपको पे नहीं करना. इट इज नॉट दैट यू हैव सोल्ड समथिंग इन द नाइट एंड यू हैव टू पे जीएसटी इन द मॉर्निंग. फर्स्ट थिंग यू हैव टू डू इज पे जीएसटी. नो, there is a specific time, specific event which has to be triggered and then GST will be payable. Time of supply will be triggered. And this supply time of supply, once it is triggered, you have to compute on what value GST has to be paid, and on that you have to apply rate of GST, and you will get the amount of GST payable. So this is how supply of GST, cycle of GST works. We'll have a pictorial representation of this. First of all, you have made a supply. So somebody gives you a product and you got the consideration. So supply has, an activity has taken place where some product has been delivered and amount has been taken for that. So first of all, you have to determine from your lens. आपको अपने lens से पहले ये determine करना है GST lens से कि whether the given activity or transaction qualifies as supply under section 7 of the CGST Act or it does not qualify. अगर वो supply की तरह qualify ही नहीं होता तो आपको पहले ही रुक जाना है, वहीं पे ही you will stop there and you will not move forward. But suppose this activity qualifies as supply, फिर तो GST के purview में net में आप एक बार आ चुके हो. Then what you will do, you will see कि supply is leviable to GST or not. For example, अभी आपके petroleum product supply तो हैं, but GST अभी उनपे charging section से बाहर है. They are not leviable to GST. Petroleum products are within the purview of GST, but GST is not leviable on them. So it is, अगर leviable नहीं है तो आप फिर वहीं रुक जाओगे, लेकिन अगर leviable है then again you have to move forward. So you found that supply is leviable to GST under GST law, then you will move further. The purview of GST का मतलब मेरा होता है कि GST के मतलब it's there within the framework of GST. GST उस पे लेवी हो सकता था. It's not outside by the constitution, but GST has actually been not levied by the charging section. Charging section ने उसको बाहर कर दिया है पेट्रोलियम प्रोडक्ट्स को. और अभी आर्टिकल ऑफ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन सिंपली सेज कि आपको पेट्रोलियम प्रोडक्ट्स पे एक डेट टू बी नोटिफाइड से आप लगा सकते हो. सो इसीलिए अगर जब तक चार्जिंग सेक्शन में वो नहीं आएगा वो बाहर है. तो परव्यू ऑफ जीएसटी में तो है. एल्कोहल इज आउटसाइड दी परव्यू. एल्कोहल पे तो लग ही नहीं सकता जीएसटी बिल्कुल भी. फॉर ह्यूमन कंजम्पशन यू कैन नॉट लेवी जीएसटी. दैट इज आउटसाइड दी परव्यू ऑफ जीएसटी. ओके, अब जब जीएसटी है, सप्लाई भी इट इज लेवेबल टू जीएसटी, चार्जिंग सेक्शन में भी है, देन यू हैव टू डिटरमिन प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई इन टर्म्स ऑफ आईजीएसटी एक्ट. प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई से आपको पता चलेगा कि वो इंटरस्टेट है या इंट्रास्टेट है. देन यू विल सी द रिस्पेक्टिव लिस्ट ऑफ एग्जेम्प्टेड सप्लाईज. अब आपने देखा भाई यहाँ जो लिस्ट दी हुई है उसमें मेरा आइटम तो यहाँ पे आ गया, फिर यू विल स्टॉप हियर. बट इफ यू सी कि नहीं अभी दिस आइटम इज नॉट हियर, so you have to, or this service is not listed here, so again you will move forward and then you will see point of time when liability to pay GST arises. That is time of supply. Point when liability to pay GST arises. Value of supply on which GST is to be computed has to be determined after you are sure that yes now you have to pay GST. तब आप वैल्यू पे जाओगे. तो वैल्यू पे आप उसके बाद लास्ट में जाते हो. ठीक है. And then the next one is the taxable event. तो ये तो अभी साइकिल ऑफ जीएसटी हमारी यहाँ स्टॉप हो गई. हमने इसको यहाँ से शुरू किया था. सप्लाई, चार्ज, प्लेस, एग्जाम्पशन, टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई, वैल्यू. और इसी सीक्वेंस में हम अपने सारे चैप्टर्स करेंगे. ये सारे चैप्टर्स जो है हमारे कोर चैप्टर्स हैं. इसके बाद एक कॉन्सेप्ट इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट का भी आता है, वो सप्लाई में रिफ्लेक्ट नहीं हो पा रहा है क्योंकि वो वैल्यू के बाद जब आप टैक्स निकालते हो तब आईटीसी आता है, बट दिस इज हाउ दिस साइकिल वर्क्स, दिस इज जीएसटी साइकिल। तो ये साइकिल हम हर चैप्टर के शुरू में एक बार रिवाइज करेंगे एंड वील सी कि किस तरीके से हम अब किस स्टेज पे आ गए, बिकॉज वील मूव स्टेप बाय स्टेप। पहले हम देखेंगे सप्लाई क्या है, फिर हम चार्जिंग सेक्शन पे नेक्स्ट चैप्टर में जाएंगे। अभी इन दिस केस वील बी डूइंग द टैक्सेबल इवेंट ओनली। ओके प्रियंका मैम, प्राइम प्राइम you find the constitution articles confusing and tough. Acha, prior to this, but now you feel confident and understanding. That's very good of you, Priyanka. Very, very good. And I'm very happy to know that at least constitutional provisions, क्योंकि पहले मतलब मैंने हमेशा बच्चों से ये सुना है, they are very scared of constitutional provisions and they're not interested कि छोड़ो कितने नंबर का आएगा वो हम छोड़ ही देंगे उसको। लेकिन अगर समझ आ रहा है तो बहुत अच्छी बात है, क्योंकि कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल प्रोविजंस वैसे भी इंपॉर्टेंट है। एज अ चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट आपको कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल प्रोविजंस पता होनी चाहिए। जब आप चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट सब बन जाएंगे, यू ऑल आर फ्यूचर चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स, तो पता होनी चाहिए। नाउ वी आर स्टार्टिंग विद द टैक्सेबल इवेंट। सप्लाई का चैप्टर अब स्टार्ट हो गया है, कोर चैप्टर है हमारा, बहुत ज्यादा, बहुत ध्यान से हम इसको करेंगे, बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग हमें लगेगा, बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग चैप्टर है। लेट मी जस्ट कंफर्म इफ एनी क्वेरी इज देयर हियर। सीडीएस पे बुक्स योगीराज आपको मिलेंगी after some time. They are under printing, so they will be available on CDS portal very soon, but please wait. By the time you can see the material uploaded on the BOS knowledge portal. Now taxable event. So taxable event क्या होता है? Under any tax law, taxable event word tax से बन रहा है, tax word है, taxable मतलब जिसको हम tax कर सकते हैं, वो event, यानी वो पर्टिकुलर ट्रांजेक्शन या वो पर्टिकुलर इवेंट या वो पर्टिकुलर एक्टिविटी upon occurrence of which we can say that yes, this tax has become payable, that event which triggers the payment of GST. फॉर एग्जाम्पल मैं इसको एक डेली लाइफ एग्जाम्पल से जोड़ के बताती हूँ। सपोज यू वांट टू से दैट माय आई एम लाइबल टू पे फी फॉर अ पर्टिकुलर, आई हैव बीन एडमिटेड टू अ स्कूल and I want to say कि हाँ मतलब when will you say that you are in a school or you are attending the class, you have been admitted to a school. So उसका अगर इवेंट हम कहते हैं कि जिस दिन से बच्चे ने स्कूल जाना शुरू कर दिया हमने मान लिया, बिकॉज जस्ट गेटिंग द एडमिशन इज नॉट सफिशिएंट, व्हेन यू स्टार्ट गोइंग टू द स्कूल, दैट इज द इवेंट दैट मेक्स यू अ स्टूडेंट ऑफ दैट स्कूल, और उस दिन से ही आप उस स्कूल के स्टूडेंट बन जाओगे। उस दिन से वील एज्यूम दैट you have started attending the school. If this is the policy of the school, then that particular event कि आपने जब स्कूल जाना शुरू किया तभी से आपका वो स्कूल के आप स्टूडेंट बन गए, that is the event. Now that event has to be triggered, so you actually have to go to school. अगर आपको इनकम टैक्स इम्पोज करना है किसी के ऊपर, तो टैक्सेबल इवेंट है कि यू हैव टू अर्न द इनकम। फॉर लिविंग इनकम टैक्स, इनकम हैज टू बी अर्न फर्स्ट। अगर आपकी इनकम नहीं है तो आप इनकम टैक्स आपके के ऊपर नहीं, whether you will be exempt, you will be under the exempted slab, or you will be eligible for certain exemptions, certain deductions, that is a separate thing, वो सब बात की बात है। लेकिन income tax you will be, you will be under the purview or under the net of income tax only when the taxable event income has been triggered, when you have actually earned the income. Similarly, under GST, the event, the transaction, the activity that triggers the supply, that triggers the levy of GST, or that triggers GST कि आप अब GST नेट में आ जाओगे, that is supply. और अभी हम प्री जीएसटी एरा के भी इवेंट्स करेंगे, उससे हमें थोड़ा सा और आइडिया मिलेगा कि क्या होता है टैक्सेबल इवेंट। बट बेसिकली द ट्रांजेक्शन, द अकरेंस ऑफ दैट ट्रिगर्स अ टैक्स लाइबिलिटी। वो इवेंट होने के बाद आप कह सकते हो कि हाँ, आप जीएसटी लाइबिलिटी की हमारी उस साइकिल में हमने एंटर कर लिया। जो हमने अभी जीएसटी साइकिल देखी थी, तो इस साइकिल में हम एंटर कहाँ करते हैं? टैक्सेबल इवेंट से। वी एंटर दिस साइकिल हियर एंड दिस इज द टैक्सेबल इवेंट। किसी भी taxation cycle में if you have to enter, first of all taxable event has to occur. सबसे पहले taxable event occur होगा, then you will say that yes, we have entered the cycle of tax, that particular tax. तो levy of tax जो है that is based on the taxable event. tax तभी levy होगा जब वो taxable event आपका occur हो जाएगा। For example, under the pre-GST era, no supply, no GST. हमारे GST में क्या है taxable event? Supply. Most important thing, all of you should know. इन प्री जीएसटी एरा क्या था, इनफैक्ट प्री जीएसटी पोस्ट जीएसटी दोनों ही है इसमें. जैसे फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल वी विल सी दी मैन्युफैक्चर. सेंट्रल एक्साइज लॉ में अंडर सेंट्रल एक्साइज लॉ the taxable event was manufacture of goods. The moment you manufacture the goods, you will say that yes, you have triggered the taxable event. Now central excise duty provisions you have to check. उस इवेंट जिसके बाद आपको अब ये प्रोविजंस चेक करने ही पड़ेंगे कि भाई टैक्स लगेगा, पे करना है, कितना पे करना है, कब पे करना है, वो सारे क्वेश्चंस बात के, लेकिन वो इवेंट पहले वो इवेंट ट्रिगर होना चाहिए. प्रोविजन ऑफ सर्विस अंडर अर्स्टवाइल सर्विस टैक्स लॉ. सर्विस टैक्स लॉ तो अब है नहीं, लेकिन जब पहले था तो उसमें जैसे ही आप सर्विस प्रोवाइड करते थे, द मोमेंट सर्विस इज प्रोवाइडेड, द टैक्सेबल इवेंट अंडर सर्विस टैक्स लॉ यूज्ड टू गेट ट्रिगर्ड. सेम वाज फॉर वैट एंड सेंट्रल सेल्स टैक्स लॉ. सेल ऑफ गुड्स, जैसे ही आपने सेल की, ईदर सीएसटी और वैट विल गेट अट्रैक्टेड एंड दैट वाज द टैक्सेबल इवेंट. कस्टम्स लॉ तो अभी भी है. कस्टम्स लॉ में अगर आपने द मोमेंट यू हैव इंपोर्टेड द गुड्स और यू हैव एक्सपोर्टेड द गुड्स, the customs law will trigger or the taxable event has occurred and now customs law comes into play. So this is what taxable event is. And under GST, अब प्री जीएसटी में आप देख रहे हो बहुत सारे अलग अलग इवेंट्स थे. मैन्युफैक्चर भी देखो, प्रोविजन ऑफ सर्विस अलग है, सेल ऑफ गुड्स अलग है. जीएसटी में एक सिंपल टैक्सेबल इवेंट है, दैट इज सप्लाई. दिस इज द टैक्सेबल इवेंट. ओके, तो हम सप्लाई के चैप्टर में अब एक एक करके सब चीजें सीखेंगे कि सप्लाई क्या होता है. So I hope this all of you are clear about, so that I can move to the actual legal framework of supply. Supply taxable event है. taxable event जब तक नहीं होगा तब तक कोई भी टैक्स लॉ टैक्स नहीं लेवी हो सकता. So किसी भी टैक्स लॉ का अगर मैं बोलूं फाउंडेशन, दिस इज द फाउंडेशन ऑफ एनी टैक्स लॉ, that you should have a taxable event. अगर taxable event ही नहीं होगा तो आप टैक्स लगाओगे किसके ऊपर? So you should have a taxable event, that is the foundation of any law. Now let us move to the framework of supply. ट्रिगर का मतलब होता है जो उस चीज को which leads to that particular event. जैसे अगर सप्लाई है तब आपका जीएसटी का प्रोसेस स्टार्ट होगा, which leads to start of a particular टैक्स. जैसे आपने लेवी ऑफ अ पर्टिकुलर टैक्स आप यहाँ पे कह सकते हो. तो ट्रिगर मीन्स जब मैं बोलती हूँ कि टैक्सेबल इवेंट ट्रिगर्स जीएसटी लेवी जीएसटी लाइबिलिटी, दैट मीन्स टैक्सेबल इवेंट अगर व्हेन टैक्सेबल इवेंट इज अट्रैक्टेड नौशीन, तभी आपका जीएसटी लगेगा. तो वो उसको ट्रिगर कर देता है, मतलब वो उसको एक gives a boost to that, or you can say it gives a start to that. तो आपका जीएसटी लॉ तभी स्टार्ट हो पाएगा. उर्मिला सिंह, अच्छा उर्मिला आप जूम में आज ज्वाइन नहीं कर पाए, बट व्हाट्सएप लिंक उर्मिला मैं आपको नहीं दिखा पाऊंगी यहाँ पर, बट you can write it, you can join it in the next class in Zoom. We'll give you the this WhatsApp link. अर्स्टवाइल का क्या मतलब होता है? अर्स्टवाइल का मतलब होता है पहला कोई जो पुराना, मतलब विच इज नॉट इन एग्जिस्टेंस नाउ, जो लॉ अभी नहीं है उसको हम अर्स्टवाइल कह के बुलाते हैं. ओल्ड भी कह सकते हो आप, अर्लियर भी कह सकते हो. दैट इज व्हाट अर्स्टवाइल इज. ठीक है, तो अर्स्टवाइल मतलब जो पहले एग्जिस्टेंस में था, अब एग्जिस्टेंस में ही नहीं है. व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप का लिंक फिर से निसर्ग ने शेयर किया है. क्विज, अच्छा व्हाट इज द टाइम नाउ? Okay, it's 8:31. So I think we should start with the quiz. Just have a quick glance at this supply framework. We'll start with supply chapter in next class. Supply में हम क्या करेंगे? सबसे पहले we'll discuss meaning and scope of supply. What constitutes supply under GST? Schedule 1 में हम देखेंगे deemed supply क्या होता है. तो कुछ सप्लाईज ऐसी होती है जो नॉर्मली सप्लाई की डेफिनेशन में फॉल नहीं करती, बट हम उन्हें डीम कर लेंगे कि हाँ ये सप्लाई है. नॉर्मल डेफिनेशन में फॉल नहीं कर रही बट फिर भी सप्लाई मान लेंगे. एक बार सप्लाई पता चल जाएगा, वंस वी नो व्हाट इज सप्लाई, विल गो टू शेड्यूल 2 which will provide us a classification of supply into supply of goods and supply of services. Why we require it? For determining the rate. We had done it in the earlier class also. And after classification we will see some negative list कि ये जो है ये supplies ही नहीं होती, these are non supplies. So these items, these activities, these transactions, they are not considered as supply under GST. That is contained in schedule 3. Time and again I am telling you that real estate is outside the outside GST because it is there in schedule 3. तो यहाँ पर उसी तरह के आइटम्स है. फ्यूनरल एक्टिविटीज, सप्लाई बाय एम्प्लॉयर टू एम्प्लॉय. अभी हम विल नॉट गो फर्दर इन दिस सप्लाई चैप्टर. वील स्टार्ट विद द क्विज. because time has already been there. Quiz में we'll take questions. So let us start with the quiz. And before that, let me share sound with you also. Okay. Okay. So now we are starting with the quiz. We have 113 participants. All of you, are you ready? Should we start the quiz? Okay. So let us start the quiz. So first question of the quiz is there on your screen. Which of the following taxes are not subsumed in GST? Central sales tax, service tax, entertainment tax levied by local bodies, value added tax, and customs duty. So you have four options, four combinations are there, but you have been given that five type of taxes we have given. You have to tell which of these taxes are not subsumed in GST. So I'm getting some answers. Okay, Charan, you are ready? Okay, Priyanka. So quickly, students, but read the question carefully. Don't mark the answer in a hurry because last time many students marked the wrong answers in a hurry. So that I don't want from you. Mustafa, okay, you have given some answer. Quickly read the answer, read the question again and read it carefully. Okay. So last 28 seconds left. For first few questions, I will give you ample time because they are a bit tricky or they will take some time. So quickly tell me which of the taxes are not subsumed in GST. We are again and again repeating this. So last few seconds, timer is on. So 10, 9, 8, 7, and time is up. So on the leaderboard, we have Prakriti on the top. And let us see the other students. So I will read out the name of top 10 students. Prakriti, Sherlock Holmes, quite an interesting name. Krishna Chavan, Manav Bihani, Aditi, Mustafa Mister, Shamli, Prajapati Namrata, Nehal, and Jaya. So congratulations all of you and let us see what was the correct answer. So correct answer has been it has been correctly answered by 26 students out of, and 48 have answered it incorrectly. 46 have not attempted it. Correct answer is option 2, option 3, and option 5. That means entertainment tax by local bodies. If you remember in last class also, those who had revised it after going home, they would have answered it correctly because this we discussed in the last class. Some of the provisions I revised in the in the beginning of the class. Entertainment tax levied only by local bodies. That was kept outside the GST. Otherwise, state government, if it is levying, it is within the purview of GST and customs duty. It is not within the purview of GST. It is not subsumed in GST, I would say. Okay. So let us move to the next question. And I am getting some okay answer. Charan, you are right. Vishal, right. And then Krishna is also right. Manav, yes, right. Very good. So that is why you all are in top 10. Let's move to the next question. Which of the following taxes are subsumed in GST? Read the question carefully. Are subsumed in GST? Luxury tax, entry tax, entertainment tax levied by local bodies, value added tax, and purchase tax. You have been given four combinations. Read the question once again carefully and mark your answer. So I'm waiting for answers in the chat box also. Those of you who have marked your answer, who have logged your answer, can give me the answer in the chat box also. Which of the following taxes have been subsumed in the GST? Quickly, students, mark the correct answer. I hope all of you are answering. Till now, 56 students have answered the question out of 121. So that is very less percentage of students have answered it. Quickly answer the question because I would be giving you lesser time for subsequent questions. Yes, Charan, right. Vishal, you are also correct. Krishna, yes, right. The option you have mentioned is right. Rosie, your answer is also correct. I think this question will be marked correctly by most of the students, I suppose. Shubham, uh, Shubham, see the question carefully, first of all. Which of the following taxes are subsumed in GST? कौन से ऐसे taxes हैं जो GST में subsume कर लिए गए हैं? Sameer, yes, you are right. In fact, some student had said Krishna was there. I think that option was wrong because I don't remember the name of the student who has mentioned it. Last few seconds left. Sabyajit, you're right. One student has mentioned as option 4 as the mistakenly said it was right. Yes. So on the leaderboard, we have Prakriti, I will refresh it again. So Prakriti on the top, then Sherlock Holmes, Mustafa Mister, Manav Bihani, Hina, Krishna Chavan, Jaya, Aditi, Rosie Walia, and Suhani. Very good. Let us see the question and let us see the answer. So 51 students have marked it correctly out of 121. 24 are wrong. 46 have not answered. So I want all of you to answer the questions. Please participate, students. Either it goes right or wrong. That does not matter. Participation is what matters. And I can assure if you participate, you will be able to understand the concepts better. Those who are in YouTube, those who are in Zoom, everybody should participate. Those who have not yet joined, they can also join and participate. So, see, luxury tax was included in GST, subsumed, entry tax subsumed in GST, only entertainment tax levied by local bodies was not subsumed. Otherwise, value added tax and purchase tax were also subsumed. So, that is why option 1 is the correct option. Somebody mentioned option 4 by mistake and I told that it's correct but because I didn't notice the options. So let us start with the next question. Supply of tobacco is subject to dash GST, state excise duty, VAT or CST, and central excise duty. Out of these 4 taxes, which of the combinations are applicable on tobacco? Try to remember the acronym which we had done and then provide me the correct answer. Supply of tobacco is subject to dash. Which of these taxes are levied on tobacco? Okay, Sameer, you are you have recently joined the quiz. So good, participate in the quiz. Okay, Rosie, you are right. Vishal, correct. Then Krishna is also right. Take your time to answer the question, but answer it correctly. All of you, please answer. Till now, 70 students have answered. I want all 121 to answer. Even if it is wrong. गलत होगा तो उससे क्या फर्क पड़ेगा? आपको गलत में समझ आएगा उस क्वेश्चन को. ज्यादा आप अच्छे से अप्रिशिएट कर पाओगे कि आपने उस क्वेश्चन में क्या गलती की है. वो कॉन्सेप्ट फिर आप भूलोगे नहीं कभी भी. जो आपने गलती की है, अगर इफ एनी क्वेश्चन गोज रॉन्ग, दैट विल ऑल्सो हेल्प यू इन मेमोराइजिंग द कॉन्सेप्ट. तो वो गलती करके भी तो सीखोगे आप. It's your way of learning, but I always suggest to participate. Kabijit, very good. Acronym also you remember and answer is correct. So, yes, Mustafa, very good. Acronym you remember. Charan, your answer is right. And Samira, no, Samira, once again see the question. Last few seconds left. Vijeta, why some of you are mentioning this? You have to check. Priyanka, good. You remember the acronym. So on the leaderboard, we have with us Sherlock Holmes is now on the top, and Mustafa Mister, Manav Bhiani, then Krishna, Hina, Rosie, Jaya, Steffi, a new entry, Pavani, and Lingaraju. So some new entries are there in this time, and let us see. The question is answered correctly by 54 students. Good. At least more students are answering it correctly. 23 are wrong. Correct answer is A and D. Because if you remember the acronym, it was LTC. T stands for tobacco, L stands for leviable to GST, and C stands for Central Excise Duty. C से कुछ बच्चे शायद हो सकता है VAT CST में भी कंफ्यूज हो गए हो, but that is not the case. I already told you C stands for Central Excise Duty, V stands for VAT and CST. So here GST is levied and Central Excise Duty is being levied, and that is why A and D is the correct option. That will be fourth option. So all of you who have marked the D as the correct option, their answer is correct. Last option. Let's come to the next question. Which of the following statement is incorrect? Mark my words, incorrect. Alcoholic liquor for human consumption is outside the realm of GST. Manufacture or production of alcoholic liquor for human consumption I am talking about is subject to state excise duty. This is alcoholic liquor for human consumption. So don't get confused. Inter and intrastate sale of alcohol is subject to CST or VAT respectively. Alcoholic liquor for human consumption is subject to GST. Which of the following statements is incorrect? You're right, Charan. You are right. Kabirjit is also right. Yes, Vishal. Vishal, actually, you have also seen the wrong answer. You have seen the question, you have not read the question correctly. And same is for Mustafa. Mustafa, you're right. You're right. Mustafa, you are right. Okay, Samira, right. I will end this question here. And so on the leaderboard, we have Manav, then Lingaraju, Sherlock Holmes, Nausheen, Mustafa, Nehal, Krishna, Hina, Jaya, and Rosie Walia. Okay, so let us move to the next question because I want to cover all of the answers. Okay, I got this point. Now, if you are not getting disturbed by this, if it is being played. The next question is supply of natural gas is subject to dash GST, state excise duty, VAT or CST, and central excise duty. Natural gas. Just one small hint I will give to you all for this particular question, so as not to make it very tough for you. Natural gas is a petroleum product. So, four types of taxes are given to you. Which of these taxes will be levied in natural on natural gas? Four options are there, four combinations are there. You have to find out which one is correct. Okay, let me see which is the correct answer here. Natural gas is hmm. So, yes, Vishal, you are right. And then we have the Medha, right? Mustafa, you have, yeah. Hmm. Yes, Mustafa, you are right. Yes, Nancy is also right. And then Saipa, okay. So on the leaderboard, we have with us, Saipa, I'm just going to tell you that on the leaderboard, we have on the top Manav, then Lingaraju, Nehal, Krishna Chavan, Jaya, Hina, Rosie Walia, Mustafa Mister, Yashwini, and Vishal Nunaria. Answer to the previous question was that alcoholic liquor was outside the purview of GST. Outside the purview of GST, alcoholic liquor is outside the purview of GST. And correct answer was that it is subject to GST. So let us move to the next question quickly. Oh, sorry, the answer to this question, let me tell you once. It is VAT and CST and central sales tax or central excise duty. Because we had done the acronym as the CV, that is the uh, needs practice leads to good learning. I think something was like that. Creates values. So creates values is actually more important because we know that petroleum products are not subject to GST, but creates values means central excise duty and VAT and CST was being levied. So C and D were there. GST, petroleum products not is not subject to GST. State excise duty and central excise duty, out of that it is subject to state excise central excise duty. Because of that, CV creates values, or you can say central excise duty and VAT or CST. Okay, so let's move to the next question. Supply of opium is subject to dash GST, state excise duty, VAT or CST, central excise duty. Again, four combinations are given to you, and I want answers from all of you. Sidebar, I think. Some error of system, I suppose it is. Otherwise, it is the D only. Yes, it's not the answer to this question. Yes, now let me first of all see the answer myself. So it is, and yes, so it is. Medha, you have to see your answer again. It is opium, supply of opium. So you first of all have to remember what was the acronym for that. Yes, Priyanka, acronym is correct. Now what would be the correct option? And Vijeta is also right. Then I have Vijeta, and then we have, okay, no, Rosie. This is not the correct answer. Only 49 seconds are left. Yes, Mustafa, very good. You remember PGNLCV. So practice gives new learning, creates values. But this is for the previous one. So, and Mustafa, it's very amazing to see that you remember it for this also. So yes, this would be the correct answer. So for this question, also you have marked the correct answer. Charan, you have to see your question, your answer. If you remember the acronym for this particular product, opium, Indian hemp, opium, narcotic drugs, we had done a particular acronym. That acronym I will tell, just 10 seconds more left. Yes, Priyanka, right. And Nasheen, you are also right. Himanshi, right. Shamli, again see your answer. And let us see the leaderboard first, and then we'll see the correct answer. So on the leaderboard, we have Manav Bihani, Nehal, Krishna Chavan, Jaya, Hina, Mustafa Mr. Yashaswini, Nithya, Ria, and Lingaraju. So congratulations to all those who are on top 10 of the leaderboard. But anyhow, all those who are participating, a big round of applause, a big clap for all of you who are participating, who are answering the questions. So don't leave the question unattempted. Please answer it whatever you feel is the correct answer. I give you ample time. Please attempt it. So in this question, OPM, for the OPM, the acronym was LOS, loss. L stands for leviable to GST, O stands for opium, and S stands for state excise duty. So A and B makes the option C, this option as the correct option. And most of you have answered it correctly. Only 26 have marked it wrongly. So 45 have marked it correctly. Let us move to the next question so that we can attempt more questions. Under concurrent dual GST model as introduced in India, which of the following statements is correct? Congruent dual GST model. This answer I want to be correct from all of you. Core of GST provision, all of you should answer it correctly. Both center and state can levy GST on supply of both goods and services. Center can levy GST on goods and state can levy GST on services. Center can levy GST on goods and state can levy GST on services. Now regarding option B and option C, this is the exclusively I am talking about. When I say center can levy GST on goods, that means GST only. State can levy GST on services under the dual GST model. And same way is for option C. State can levy GST on goods only and center can levy GST on services only. Last few seconds left. Please mark the answer. Let me see. Priyanka, your answer is correct, but you are not on leaderboard. Maybe Priyanka, because of the timing, it could be there. Because we have more than 100 students. So it could be because of difference in timing. But anyhow, you are answering all questions correctly. You deserve a applause for that. So you don't feel bad if you are not on leaderboard. I will show you once the complete leaderboard at the end of the this quiz. Okay. So under the concurrent dual leadership, dual GST model, both center and state can levy GST on supply of both goods and services. This was the correct option. And 61 students have answered. So at least we have very few students marking it wrongly, which is only 5 students have marked it wrongly. And let us see the leaderboard. So on the leaderboard, Manav is on the top, Jaya, Krishna Chavan, Nehal, Mustafa Mister, Hina, Yashaswini, Ria, Nitya, and Lingaraju. And I will show the complete leaderboard in the last question. So this is the last question which will be there on your screen, and then I will show you the complete leaderboard. Before that, let me see the comments. Yes, Medha, you are right. And Samira, you were also right. Rosie, yes, absolutely correct. And Charan, I don't remember the color of the box, but I hope you will be correct because very few students have marked it wrongly. Deepika, but a laptop color was different. Okay. So in case because I think some difference will be there when you see it on your mobile phone or your laptop screen. So better you see the question there only. I'm just reading the question. You can refer that, but see it on your screen and mark it carefully, please, because Deepika has actually been confused with the color because different colors are appearing in the on the laptop screen as on the mobile screen. So please be very careful. And Krishna, I think this was the answer for the previous question you had given, but that is right. Sony, good, you remember the acronym. And Vishal, opium means I have to see the Hindi meaning of opium. Otherwise, um, it's a kind of a drug, I suppose. So I have to see what is the exact meaning of opium. But don't worry, Vishal, I will tell you in a few minutes. In the meantime, you will attempt the next question. I will see and tell you. Abhinav has told the हिंदी मीनिंग ओपियम का मतलब है अफीम कलर इज डिफरेंट ओके मेधा आपने भी गलत आंसर मार्क कर दिया ओके डोंट गो बाय द कलर्स व्हिच आर देयर ऑन माय लैपटॉप स्क्रीन दे वुड बी डिफरेंट एंड योर दिस डिवाइस द कलर्स आर डिफरेंट ओपियम और इंडियन हेम्प का मतलब है गांजा दिस इज अनदर वर्ड फॉर दिस तो somebody asked me it is not legal but still tax is being levied so I told you tax will be levied on all the activities that does not matter okay Ashok bhai has also given the correct meaning चरस इज ऑल्सो ये सब जो है उसी नार्कोटिक ड्रग्स के कैटेगरी में ही आते हैं चरस अफीम गांजा दीज आर द हिंदी वर्ड्स फॉर ओपियम इंडियन हेम्प एंड नार्कोटिक ड्रग्स so I hope you got a fair idea who has asked the query I don't remember okay okay Abhinav Karthik is giving the description of the appearance also in fact I had also put a picture of opium just to give you an idea how it looks like. So before the end of the class, if time permits, I will give you that. So on the screen, we have the last question of the day. GST compensation cess is levied on sin goods only, luxury goods only, or luxury and sin goods both. What would be the correct answer? Karthik, you gave the appearance of opium also. That will help in retaining also. So opium is seeds. Opium is seeds illegal. Yeah, I think it's illegal everywhere. So yes, Krishna, your answer is right. Medha, absolutely right. Then Kabyajit is also right. This answer, I think all of you will answer correctly. In fact, during the course of the discussion today in the class, somebody asked this doubt. I don't know how come he or she has asked that doubt, but exactly same doubt somebody has asked. Charan, you are right. So I think this question will be answered correctly by most of you. 60 people have answered it. Last few seconds. That is why I had kept lesser time for this. I will show you the entire leaderboard after this question. Priyanka is also correct. Time is up. Rosie, you are right. And Himanshi, you have to consider your answer. Let me tell you. Luxury and sin goods. Both luxury and sin goods are leviable to compensations, CST compensation cess. Correct answer is option 3. 48 students have marked it correctly. So very good. And let us see who is our GST titan for the day. So it is Manav Bihani. Congratulations, Manav. You have been GST Titan for the second time. But this does not mean that others cannot be GST Titan. Next time, whatever we have done till today, that you have to revise for the sake of your knowledge, also for the sake of revising the concept and making it very making your foundation strong for this subject. But in the next class we'll be discussing supply chapter, so be very attentive during the class. Whatever we discuss in the class, the quiz will be based. We have very short quiz after the class, and that quiz will be based on the concept discussed during the class. So those students who had not done the previous classes, they will also be able to participate and attempt the quiz. So all those who are attending the class carefully, they will be able to attend the quiz. So don't worry. So on the leaderboard, top is Manav Bihani. He is GST Titan for the day. And then we have Krishna Chavan, Nehal, Jaya, Mustafa Mister, Hina, Ria, Nithya, Lingaraju, Savia Khan. These are the top 10 students on the leaderboard, but I will take name of others, few others also, so that few students have this, complaint that their name is not appearing. Prakriti, Julie, Akarshita, Pooja, Aditi, Prajapati, Rosie, Deepika, Priyanka, Yashaswini, Adil, Saipa, Abhijit, Nosheen, Sherlock Holmes, Madiha, Gunjan, Insia, Harshpreet, Pavani, Riddhi, Soni, Kirubha, Urmi, Abhinav, Urmila, Sakti, Ishwarya, Vishal, Purnima, Razi, then Rohini, Anita, Parichay, Prerna, Chaitra, Himanshi, Himanshu, Shamli, and Steffi. So these were the top 50 students. But first of all, we all should applaud ourselves that we have participated in the quiz and we have at least give it a try to answer the questions. So that is what matters. This leaderboard is to actually encourage us to do better. But that does not mean that if we have not answered correctly, there is no problem. You just have to attend the class carefully, revise it carefully after going home, and you will be able to perform in this quiz also. And it's actually sometimes it's a matter of seconds also, that you have marked the answer few minutes earlier, few seconds earlier, other person has marked it a few seconds later, so he is down the board, you are on the top, and whatever it is, but at least you have marked it correctly. That is what matters. So let us see, any of you has to say anything? Okay, just one wrong answer, Rosie, and you got down the position anyhow, but then also you have performed very well. First quiz, you were 11. Okay, Mustafa, that is very good. You are at fifth. So that is, you are showing progress. That is very good. Congratulations, Mustafa. So one more mnemonics Abhinav has shared is human jams empty. For the this, I will note it down somewhere because these slides might go. That is also good. Human jams and empty. So empty you can take as mount. It's a short form for mountain, human, and jams, you know. Yes, this is very good way of remembering the things. This is for special category state Abhinav is telling, and very good acronym, Abhinav. I think quizzes on previous lecture are more helpful as they give motivation to revise one more time before attending the lecture. Okay. So we'll try to make more quizzes like that. In fact, in case of supply chapter, if you see the quiz which we will have, it will revise your entire concepts. Actually, under this first chapter, most of the things are conceptual, but the quiz cannot be formed in that conceptual manner. But whatever conceptual clarity, conceptual testing we could have done, we had done it in the last class. Today, it was more a testing of a memorization. I accept that, Krishna, but then also some memory is also required for the examination. Okay, Saipa is saying you refresh the leaderboard. So is it so that leaderboard is not refreshed? Let me refresh it again, Saipa. But I feel that it's the same. Let me show it once again to you. Let us see. Saipa is on 22. So I hope you keep doing better. Priyanka, you are on 19. Very good. Congratulations. So, congratulations, Manav. And then we have Anita. You enjoyed the class, Anita. Thank you so much, Anita. In fact, I want you all to fill the feedback form. This is what you can do if you really enjoyed the class. Uh, this is what I am expecting from you. I have tried to make this class as enjoyable as possible, as making the concepts as easy as possible, trying to answer all your queries, and making the making you the concepts revise through quiz. We'll do the same in the next class also. So okay, so Nausheen, you got disconnected, but then anyhow, that does not matter. You were there in the quiz, you answered the questions, that is what matters. So I request all of you to provide the feedback also to me so that I can understand that yes, my efforts are being liked by you all, or you all want such type of classes, you want such type of classes to continue. Medha haven't scored it well because of okay color shuffle problem. This time I think has occurred. Was it not earlier? So is it if in that case I would suggest all of you to focus on your device only. Just have a for the purpose of listening to the question you can listen to me, but don't refer my screen in that case if it is so. Archana, really enjoyed the class, ma'am. Easy to understand the concept. Thank you, Archana. This is what we really want, that concepts should be understood by the students. Kabijit. As Bengali, I personally found Manush Jat. Okay. That is also a good acronym. Manush is for human. And in fact, if you see what Abhinav gave was human, you gave Manush. I think they mean the same as far as how I don't know Bengali, but I think in Bengali, Manush means human only, na? So Manush Jat, that is also a good acronym. So all of you can send your acronyms to me in the at IDT-enter for special category states. IDT-enter acronyms for any of the concepts which we have discussed in these three classes. If you have your any more acronyms and any concept for which we have not given any acronyms but you have devised for your studies, please do share it at IDT-enter at ICAI.in. IDT-enter at ICAI.in and share the feedback at the share feedback portal only. Okay, you were the Sherlock Holmes, Kabirjit. That means you should have given your own name. Sherlock Holmes is an interesting name, but how could I figure out that you were the Sherlock Holmes? So now I got it. Okay, because of the color scheme, Deepika also marked the wrong answer. Anyhow, next class you all should start. Restart my journey. Now restart my journey for January 26. Okay, Priyanka, you all the best for your journey and thank you to you for your kind words. Geeta, enjoyed the class, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, Geeta. So all of you who enjoyed the class, please fill the feedback. Those who find any suggestions, who have any suggestions for improvement, they also please fill the feedback form so that we can know that what improvements you want in the class. So both ways, I request all of you to fill the feedback form. Yes, IDT dash enter. Priyanka, it's dash, not underscore. IDT dash enter. So when you are giving the acronyms, for acronyms, you can send it at IDT-enter. Okay. Okay. So let me see if anybody has any more suggestions. Okay, Mujahid, I enjoyed the class. So GST is a new subject for you. I understand, Mujahid, and you enjoyed it. That is what we all wish. Lingaraju, concepts are understood well, ma'am. Thank you, Lingaraju. Satish, good night, Satish. And let us see, Karthik. Ma'am, is it hyphen? It is hyphen. It is hyphen, Karthik, for your um, acronyms. Good night, Priyanka. Very Mustafa is saying very, very nice session. Enjoyed learning so much and remembering some constitutional provisions. I will revise you. Please revise it, Mustafa. If you revise it today only, you will retain it for a very long period. And please mark my words, please revise whatever we are doing in the class after going home. You will definitely get benefited from these classes. आपके सारे concepts अच्छे से हो जाएंगे. आपको मतलब जीएसटी में कभी लगेगा ही नहीं कि कुछ डिफिकल्ट है या जीएसटी याद नहीं हो रहा, जीएसटी में हम कर नहीं पा रहे हैं कॉन्सेप्ट्स या फिर हम क्वेश्चंस नहीं कर पा रहे. क्वेश्चंस प्रैक्टिस आल्सो वी विल डू. सप्लाई में वी विल बी डूइंग द मेन क्वेश्चंस प्रैक्टिस. So it is your teaching skills that is great. I can't give your feedback because your teaching is perfect. No, you can give the positive feedback also. So feedback does not mean that it has to be negative. You can give whatever you like in the class. You can tell us. Thank you, Karthik. And thank you, Vishal. Humble request. Abhinav has a request that please take. Okay, Abhinav, this is something I am a GST faculty. So thank you. You find the session awesome. Okay, that's good, Abhinav. You don't realize when the time passed. You found the class interesting. That was my purpose only. Thank you, Mustafa. And I think we should end the class. Let us see one more comment which is there. Prerna, you found the session great. Thank you so much. So with this, we come to an end of this session. Yes, Rosie, I will share you the notes and thank you. You found the session good. You found the teaching style also good, but please share the feedback. Again, I am requesting all of you that if you find the class interesting, if you find it useful, please do share the feedback at the link which I have just shown to you. So with this, we come to an end of the session. Thank you so much. Good night and come prepared in the next class. Revise all the concepts and we'll start with the very, very important concept of GST, supply under GST. Okay. So with this, we come to an end of the class. Thank you so much. Yes, I will share the notes with you all. Just a minute. Good night, Manav. Okay. Good night, Abhinav. Feedback submitted, Vishal. Thank you so much for submitting the feedback. Whatever suggestions you give, we'll try to incorporate them also. Whatever things you feel we have, they are good, they will be continued. Thank you, Deepika. Good night. And good night, Nausheen. Good night, Geeta. Good night, everyone. So with this, we come to an end of the class. Good night, everyone. Bye.